a little taller on radio.
Is it live? Is it live? Is it live?
From Big Mike's Sports Bar and Grill in Denham Springs, welcome to the Monday edition. Live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Charles Sandegriff, Jimmy Ott, Jordan Kitchens back in the studio. It is a regular football Monday. Frank Wilson press conference at about 11:40 in the middle of the show. We'll have that for you. Troy Macker with us also on a Monday. We're glad that you are with us as well on a foggy day here in the capital city. Good morning, Jimmy.
Good morning, Charlie.
Yeah, the LSU football team with a 1-point win against Arkansas at Tiger Stadium on Saturday morning / afternoon. So a few things I want to say about before we get into the nuts and bolts of this. We understand that there's a coaching search going on, and that trumps everything, and that's fine. I understand that this game is not going to catapult LSU into the playoffs or into another level of ranking or whatever. It's just a win over a winless in the conference football team by 1 point in your home stadium. Okay, all of that's true. I get it. Okay, so when we start talking about this game and some of the emotional factors that went into it, I understand all of that. Okay, I understand that when they do the next, rendition of the history of LSU football, this game ain't going to be, up at the top of the marquee. But considering everything that's going on here the last few weeks, I was happy for the kids and I was happy for the coach that they got a win. Okay, it's been a rough go for them for a lot of reasons, and even though this has been a disappointing season, I was not at all disappointed to see that they had some joy, and that starts with Frank Wilson, who was emotional. Jimmy, you know the backstory here. I mean, it's been told, but you being from New Orleans especially know this backstory with Frank and why this game meant so much.
There's a lot of people from New Orleans I'm not as close to as Frank Wilson. Frank Wilson's family, period. And one time Frank and I were at something. I said, man, well, Frank's like family. She said, we are family. So, I mean, my dad was very, very proud of Frank, and my dad had a big impact on Frank's life. And knew Frank's uncles and cousins, and so Frank is, in the pay for play era, he's still the guy that is invested in what he knows best as far as how to build relationships through the recruiting process. And Charlie, there's certain players now you got to pick and choose. Like, okay, this kid needs to be ridden hard. He needs to, to try and get the best out of him. This one needs to be patted on the back more to kind of get the most out of him. But one thing I think that is consistent in coaches getting to motivate players off season, during season, when they're away from you. One of my dad's biggest things, self-discipline, Frank talks a lot about as well, get rubbed off on him, is if you care about your players off the field, they will give you more on the field. And maybe Frank is better at that than maybe his most recent supervisor. I mean, if you had to say, and maybe Frank is the anti-Brian Kelly, when he is spending time, investing time, traveling, going to see the player, the mom, the uncle, the brothers, and everything else. Future players, current players, ex-players, the whole thing. He's reached out to all of them. And I know side stories where he is, when something happens, man, I don't know what kind of, they call Frank. And so, Frank, they leaned on him because he is the guy. He is the one guy that they have spent the most time with. So, if no, it's not going to be an all-timer when we're talking about. There's not a ton on the line, but for the Frank and for those players, yeah. I mean, everybody's instructed or mentored to kind of like, man, give it your best, give it your best, give it your best. But you got to have a little positive reinforcement at some point. And maybe a win on Saturday. Come from behind win. Down 14 right out the chute. was a little positive reinforcement for the current staff, and the current team as well. Because I think the data point that Frank has done the best, and we can look at how many commitments have they lost in this recruiting class to this point. And that's a real low number compared to most
it is.
in this situation.
And I thought that getting off to that poor start, okay, could have doomed them. You know, think about what was going on there. They come out. Your quarterback is making his first start here. He's nervous. He's off of his game. It is not a great crowd, okay? This is a morning start, which is tough under the best of circumstances, so it's not one of those magical nights in Tiger
No,
Stadium.
they're going because we got the tickets.
Yes,
You know?
and the weather's nice,
Yeah,
okay?
yeah,
We'll get
yeah.
outside. You make a huge mistake on special teams, it puts you in an even bigger hole, and you find yourself down 2 touchdowns. We make the joke all the time. We do keys to the V, get off to a good start. When do you want to get off to a bad start? Well, this bad start was overcome by a
For
lot of big
teams.
plays.
Struggling teams, it's more important because if they're down, they're going to stay down usually if they get off to a bad start.
The
And they didn't.
inertia of college football, for sure. And they came back and they made – I thought this was a game where it was just a lot of big plays, signature plays, not necessarily long-distance plays, but huge plays for a team that's had a hard time getting in the end zone in the red zone, for Caden Durham to rip off a 27-yard touchdown run, for Harold Perkins, who has been up and down all year. You know, there have been good games and bad games, to have one of his best games. Arkansas must think that guy's like Lawrence Taylor or something. But
He is,
well, against them, he has been. A goal line stand that is the guy that's right in the middle of your goal line stand is a 6th-year senior who came back after a season-ending injury a year ago. An 87-yard touchdown drive that's engineered by the quarterback that is making his first start, that includes a handful of trick plays, stuff that you might run once a season, if that. All of those things, some key turnovers that you caused, the Delane interception in the end zone to turn Arkansas back at the end of the first half. And not only that, but 3 big plays after that. 33 seconds to go. You're on your own 20-yard line. Be easy to just run it out. Well, they popped a couple of runs. Durham and Barry both popped a run. And then I thought one of Van Buren's best throws of the day to Xavier Thomas' 25-yard line to set up a makeable field goal. And I could go on. There were other runs, and there were other plays in this game. They needed every one of them. They won this game by a point. Okay, it's literally probably 6 inches of real estate between Jacoby and Guillory, the ball carrier, and the end zone. But they kept them out. So they did everything that you needed to do. It wasn't perfect. The special teams lapses, that have been there really in the second half of the season, an awful lot were there. They allowed way too much in the return game. They got the punt blocked. There were 2 guys. They botched that so bad. There were 2 guys that were kind of falling all over themselves to block the punt.
Yeah.
So they certainly made some mistakes. But the effort was there, the enthusiasm was there, and the emotion was there after the game. It wasn't lost on me. Between Frank's interview, the players in the locker room, and all that stuff.
I missed a lot of the post-game stuff. Fill me in.
Well, okay, so the first thing is that he's doing the interview coming off of the field, and was asked, what does this mean to you? And he got choked up. And I know he's thinking about one of his mentors.
Yeah,
Shan. And he says, it means everything, and he's kind of choked up. And then when he goes to the post-game press conference where he's meeting with the local media, Caden Durham comes in and gives him a hug in the middle of the press conference, like, screw the formality. I'm going to come give you a – And then when he came into the locker room, there's a video. They're all hooping and hollering. They're jumping up and down. It's a joyous locker room, and he jumped right into the middle of the pile. Okay, so this means something. And like I said at the open, I get that this doesn't fix everything that's wrong with LSU. All it does was mean they got one more win in this season, one more win in conference play. But I was happy that they got to experience that on Saturday.
You don't want to tell the new coach who to hire, but more evidence to the to LSU's next coach, said like, this is a guy that you might want to start with, because if
Yeah.
you don't, they'll be in line to scoop him up.
Frank is holding this thing together right now from a recruiting standpoint as well. And we talked with Shea Dixon on Saturday about that. And you just mentioned the number. Signing date is 4 days after the end of the regular season. 4 days. I mean, the calendar doesn't do you any favors. And to say nothing of the fact that school ends about a week after the season ends. You got all of these kids that are trying to make a decision whether they're going to go in the portal or they want to stick around here. Well, I wouldn't blame anybody on that staff if the number one thing on their mind today was where's their next job, because they're not, none of them, even Frank, none of them are guaranteed a job here. It appears to me, from what I'm hearing and what I'm seeing, that everybody on the staff right now is focused on this completely, and will be until they're told not to. And it doesn't have to. That's not automatic. That's
No,
not
no, no,
automatic.
no, 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 Charlie. Let's clarify that. No, when you fire the head coach, the entire staff is fired.
Yes.
Okay. When you say, "Oh, I can't believe it," no, that everybody is fired. It's a matter of if they go on, the new coach is going to rehire them. From the secretary to the offensive coordinator to the recruiting coordinator to the general manager, everybody. And usually, what would you say? 90%, 80 to 90% of the current staff is usually going to be working somewhere else next year.
Yeah.
I mean, they're bringing in all
That's
their
the way
guys.
it was last time.
That's not just LSU. That's all over. I mean, that's the way it is. I mean, Lane Kiffin, wherever he's going to be next year. Well, man, most of his staff is going to go with him.
Yeah.
I mean,
there's two divisions of that. It's the guys that go with him and the guys that get promoted because he's leaving, in some cases.
To the game, you look at it, Arkansas's 2-8, 0-6, but they're dangerous, and they proved that.
6-1 score losses.
Is that right?
6.
So you include the Memphis game?
Five
in
in the league and one against
game.
Memphis, yeah.
What do you make of just 54 offensive snaps for Arkansas? Running the ball for LSU contributed to that, to keep the clock going, obviously. They were balanced. 37 rushes, 33 passing attempts. But 54, that's usually been flipped. LSU's been the one that didn't have any snaps this year.
They turned the ball over 3 times. That's 3
who?
possessions. Arkansas. That's
Yes,
3
they
possessions.
cut short.
Yeah.
3 possessions cut short. And, you just stopped them, and you blocked the punt, so you're giving the ball back again.
Correct.
So
Correct.
defensive special teams touchdown.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. But I thought Mike Delicono did a great job because, okay, what do we think about when you go from Nussmeier to Van Buren? Well, Van Buren can move more. Okay, well, we'll try and move him. And so that doesn't mean he's a good thrower on the move because he's more mobile than Nussmeier. And you saw that. Those first the early throws where he ain't even the guys are open too.
Yeah.
And he's not even close. And one, nerves, and two, we get a little confused on that because as far as thinking because he's more mobile, he'll be able to throw the ball accurately on the run. Not the case, but he settled down completely because he was a mess early, man. He was, we just expected to see the same guy that came in relief that looked a little bit more settled. But his first start, the build-up, and you know what, too, Charlie? You're not nervous about things you don't care about. So another little indication, even though it was a negative, him being so nervous in affecting his play early, it's another little sign that, this is meant more than just the regular phone it in type of game in a situation where teams fell way below their preseason goals.
He is betting on himself. We talked about it last week. Now, the circumstances changed a little bit when Nussmeier was ruled out, but he essentially said, it is worth it to me to play the rest of this season rather than to sit out and gain another season in 2028. I feel like I can make enough of an impact now that I will increase my stock here or wherever next year. And you're betting basically 3 games against 12 for the 2028 season, which he would have gotten had he redshirted. That's a big gamble for him to make. Early returns, I thought he played pretty well on Saturday after the slow start.
To shift my stance because we still thought, because Frank said last week they're both going to play.
And Nussmeier was taking the number 1 reps. We took him at his word.
That Nussmeier would start and Van Buren would play.
That's what it
I
felt like.
do not want to have, if again, if that's my son or whoever, I don't think it was in Van Buren's best interest to just play sparingly in relief and burn that year of eligibility. No, if you could have start and finish 3 games and maybe a bowl game, that's a completely different story.
Yeah, I agree.
You agree?
Yes.
Yeah.
I do. And I thought that, again, is he the LSU's answer at quarterback moving forward? I can't say that.
They're going to bring in another guy. There'll be competition.
Probably 2. Okay, now
really?
Colin Hurley's left the team, so that's another spot. Assuming that he doesn't come back, that's another spot. I would imagine that there'll be at least 2 quarterbacks that are not on this roster that'll be on
Kid from High Picarella's not a complete stiff.
I learned his name Saturday.
I saw him play a few times at U-High.
I didn't.
He's had a different little high school path. West Bank, Mississippi, Baton Rouge.
I wasn't aware that. I don't think anybody was aware that Hurley had left the team until Sports Information released it in the middle of the game. So yeah, there'll be other quarterbacks, but has he put himself at least in a position where he can come in and compete? Yes. Okay. He's got a chance to strengthen that position. But whoever comes in is going to look at all of the quarterbacks next spring, and they're going to say, "Hey, Van Buren has this advantage to him. He doesn't. If he comes back here, he doesn't have to beat out an incumbent. Okay, it'll be a quarterback competition. You would think
that's up to the new coach.
Well, not that he won't be an incumbent. Now they could bring in a starter from somewhere else. He might not. He might not.
We have 2 or 3 of his own coming.
We have no idea.
Yeah.
We're here at Big Mike's Sports Bar and Grill. Every Monday night is all-you-can-eat boiled shrimp, and every Wednesday night is dollar wings. Also line dancing on Wednesday nights, and live music every weekend here at Big Mike's. Be a DJ here for the next 2 LSU games. Preston Wallace here for that. And one of the best happy hours anywhere, a true happy hour with real discounted prices from 4 until 8, Monday through Friday. You're talking about $2.50 beer, domestic bottles, and draft, $4 Wells, $5 wine, and those prices are good all day on Sunday, starting at 11 o'clock. So if you want to come out and watch the NFL, you can do that here in Big Mike's.
Awesome place to watch games.
All the new TVs, yes.
Even the scoop looks good on the TV right now.
All the big TVs here at Big Mike's. Of course, we're winding down the high school football season, but they're open late on Friday nights, family friendly. They are closed on Thanksgiving Day, but we open the rest of the holiday weekend. So closed on Thanksgiving Day, so enjoy that with your family, but the rest of the holiday weekend be open here at Big Mike's.
Ain't candy left from trunk or treat, huh?
No.
Kids scooped them up, huh?
Here on Aspen Square in Dennis Springs, live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch.
Hey, it's Reese Davis. Let's be honest, we can't keep an eye on everything. Unless you've got Blink Outdoor 4 cameras. While you're focused on the game, Blink's keeping an eye on your home.
With up to 2-year battery life and with Sync Module XR, you can cover more space without constant maintenance. No wires, no worries. Blink helps keep an eye on what matters most. Get Blink today at the Home Depot. How doers get more done.
Introducing the new ESPN Fox One bundle. Unlock all of ESPN and all of Fox One with one unbeatable price. Catch the biggest games, college football, NBA, NHL, and more on ESPN. Stream your faves, Big Noon Saturday, the World Series, and NASCAR on Fox One. All for just $39.99 a month. That's 20% off. The ESPN Fox One bundle. Offer valid for eligible subscribers only. Access content from each service separately. Savings compared to purchasing both plans separately. See stream.espn.com for complete terms and conditions.
Introducing LSU Snacks, the officially licensed snacks of the Tigers. Every bite supports LSU athletes so you can cheer on the Tigers while enjoying great taste. Try the Win Bar, a blend of crunchy granola, wholesome almonds, and chocolate chips packed with protein and lower in sugar. Or you can grab the Win Bites, gluten-free, bite-sized chocolate chip cookies with the perfect crunch. Find LSU Snacks now at Rouse's or order online at lsusnacks.com. That's lsusnacks.com, where every bite supports LSU.
Supreme service, supreme savings, and supreme selection are all at Supreme Chevy in Gonzales. We have the Chevy you want, but we also have the pre-owned vehicles you want too. All makes and models, from trucks and SUVs to our value line, where everything is priced under $25K. So buy with confidence and visit us today or shop 24/7 at SupremeChevy.com. Together, let's drive to Supreme Chevrolet in Gonzales, plus tax, title, license, and fees.
Water is water, right? Not when it's Evermore. Smooth tasting Evermore water is Mother Nature's masterpiece. Evermore is natural artesian water. Maybe you want a healthier lifestyle, a high-end athlete who wants better hydration, or a parent who wants something healthier for their kids. You want Evermore. EVAMOR. Evermore. Available at great local retailers.
Stabs Prime Steak and Seafood? Stabs Prime Steak and Seafood. Well, I guess along with those sizzling steaks, we do have wood-fired oysters and scallops, beautiful sea bass, fresh Gulf fish and shrimp, and rich Ora King salmon. So yeah, Stabs Prime Steak and Seafood. Jefferson Highway across from Palermo Ristorante. Tell Leo that Kevin sent you. And don't forget, there ain't no cake in that crab cake. Come and see us.
Imagine your backyard transformed for football games, family parties, and year-round fun.
Russell Pool Company creates resort-style spaces with custom pools and spas designed for entertaining and built with expert craftsmanship.
Elevate your home today at russellpools.com.
This is Garrett Nussmeyer, and Raising Cane's is our victory meal.
The Tigers and their fans are some of the most dedicated in football. It's a quality we share, and that fuels every single order of our hand-battered chicken fingers.
Wherever there's football, there's Raising Cane's. Go Tigers. Raising Cane's chicken fingers. One love. Let's go.
Winning teams on the field or in the office. Wear Red Stick Sports. Family owned since 1981, Red Stick Sports helps Baton Rouge businesses and teams look their best with custom corporate apparel, uniforms, and specialty items that make your brand stand out. From polos and pullovers to full team uniforms and promotional gear, Red Stick Sports makes your crew look like champions. Red Stick Sports, locally owned, locally proud. Visit redsticksports.com today.
Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny from Big Mike's Sports Bar and Grill in Denham Springs on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
Remember, you can always get the show on demand, 1045ESPN.com. LouisianaSports.net is brought to you by Supreme Rice and SupremeRice.com, supporting our Louisiana farmers since the 1930s. Go to SupremeRice.com. Can we talk about Lane Kiffin?
Sure.
I want to talk about Lane Kiffin. I feel like you ever used to listen to Don Imus in the 90s? When, no matter what was going on, he'd come to the radio show every day. He goes, I don't care what else is going on. I want to talk about Bill Clinton. You know, it was like the polarizing figure. So in college football right this second, Lane Kiffin is the polarizing figure. Save the other jokes.
He's in the catbird seat.
Yeah. So first of all, let's talk about the game, which was a teeth-pulling thing for them, given that they went over 500 yards of total offense and still had to kind of fight their way through this thing. 2 drives that got down inside the 3-yard line. They come away with no points. And they had to fight their way through this thing. So he got asked about lack of focus after the game. He said, well, I don't know, lack of 500 and I think it was 540. So looks pretty focused to me. But, you know, you say whatever you want.
No matter what you stand on it, every situation is different. But there are so many more coaches in pro and college that are going for it on fourth down, way more. We saw 2 chip shot field goal attempts in the game in Madrid yesterday morning.
To take the lead.
Less than 2 minutes to go.
Yeah.
They just skipped on it and went for it on fourth instead of taking a lead with 2 minutes to go in the game or less. Lane's always going for it on fourth down.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, when it's kind of that iffy area.
Prior to this year.
Oh, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Always, meaning, prior, yes, for a long time now before everybody else started to try and go for it on fourth down on his own side of the field. Sometimes, but when you miss, it's a big deal. When you miss, it's a turnover. If you want to see what Alabama in Oklahoma, it's all turnovers. That decided that whole game when y'all gained them 2-1 and everything else. So, you're going to give another team a turnover. 0 for 5 last night for Detroit, for the Madman, for kneecaps. I mean, and we've seen him in action in a conference championship a game where you can make a strong argument he cost his team by being a little over-aggressive on fourth down, a berth in the Super Bowl. But Kiffin at 5 or 7. But, Charlie, we don't know what Florida's going to bring. Is it going to be the Florida that played against Kentucky? No, it wasn't.
No.
It was more like the Florida that played Georgia.
Especially in the first half, but yeah, for the whole game.
I mean, it's back and forth. You had lead changes. No, Ole Miss was very much in a game. And that's when they go up 10-0, and Florida's up 13-10. Oh, and then Ole Miss takes a lead. So it's 17-14. Then Florida 21. I mean, it's back and forth, bro. Back and forth. This was a 50-50 game, and Ole Miss makes enough plays at the end and pulls away because Chambliss is a little bit more of a dependable passer than Lagway. That, to me, is where, ultimately that kind of caught up with him. And how about his evaluation for talent? Or is it where he puts his skill players in where they're going to have so much more success? How many carries did Lacey have last year for Missouri? Like 23, 25 carries for the season?
He had 31 yesterday, or Saturday.
I mean, 224 and 3 TDs.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, him and then the other guy from Missouri, they got him. I think, was he at Southern Miss his freshman year?
Hardy? No, I thought Hardy was
Or just went straight to Missouri?
No, I think was he at UM Monroe?
I think that's right.
Monroe,
that is right.
Yeah.
That is right. UM Monroe. So, but how does Lane continue to get, or does he's such a good offensive mind that he puts his quarterbacks, his running backs, his receivers in offensive-friendly situations where they're able to, that's his strength. I mean, he can take different guys almost every year and produce numbers. Because even when it seems like they are struggling, man, at the end of the day, they got 500 yards of offense every game. Every game.
538 to be exact here. So let's talk about what everybody wants to talk about, which is what's Lane going to do next. They have a bye week this week before the Egg Bowl. They've already played 11 games, so they've only got the Egg Bowl left on this thing. They are a shoe-in to make the playoffs, regardless of what happens there, or the SEC championship game. And he's got, at the very least, 2 offers on his desk, maybe 3.
He's got 3.
Yeah. We at least heard a little bit of rumblings yesterday that, and really even before this, but especially yesterday, that the powers that be there are getting, I think you used the term antsy last week.
Yeah.
Okay. What's the next highest after antsy?
Aggravated.
Aggravated. Desperate.
They feel like they have provided what he has asked for, what he's requested to make them competitive.
We have done everything we can do for you except be the University of Florida or LSU. Everything we can do for you that you have asked, we have done within reason.
I do think LSU is going to have a coach within, just 2 weeks from today, they will have a coach.
Okay. Well, that's December the 1st, I think. Yeah. Okay. Then
Rick Neuheisel today said that he thinks that Lane's going to Florida.
Thinks that Lane's going to Florida.
Buck Bellew was on his show today and said that the word down when his visits Jacksonville. And of course, they think they got the deal done. What we know is he has not signed that new deal with Ole Miss for a reason. I think he said maybe $13 million or something like that.
When Napier was fired at Florida, the first number we heard that had any credibility for it was 13-4.
I'll give me the over. If it's
that was a month ago.
Okay, whatever. I mean, if it's under 15, I'll be shocked.
Okay.
LSU's in the mix. He values the LSU job. There's no doubt about it. I mean, just listen to his comments with, little bitty Ole Miss going against big bad LSU. These type of things. He knows that Florida, his wife, is not only the alum of Florida, but her dad played quarterback for Florida. Was a really good quarterback, John Reeves. His ex-wife, the mother of his children, was in Oxford with the kids. I mean, it's you asking me if he's going to go to LSU, Florida State? I don't know.
I don't know if anybody knows.
I don't think
other
he knows.
than
you think he knows?
That's a great question. Does
if
he
he
know?
wanted to stay at Ole Miss, because is there a chance with all of this it could be a distraction?
Yeah.
Do you think maybe some Ole Miss administrators or people that started to come out and get a little pissy with him after and said, do they think they know they were a double-digit favorite? Did that game play out like they were a double? That was not a routine win, as you should be. So no matter if it's not the same team that the Florida team that played Georgia instead of Kentucky, they don't care. They just like, man, we barely got out of this thing alive. Are we going to screw up this thing and go into the playoff for the first time? We're going to have a relevant game in Oxford. Forget the damn Sugar Bowl and this bowl and whatever. I mean, you're playing in the playoff. That's a big deal. And they ain't had a big deal game in a long time in Oxford. And these distractions may cost us. So now they're getting aggravated. But why hasn't he signed? So that's why I put Ole Miss third in their chances.
I have
want to break it down? If you want to say 40% Florida, 40% LSU, 20% Ole Miss, I can live with that. But Ole Miss is third in the probability because he could have signed this thing a month ago.
And I have an answer to your question, and the answer is leverage. And I think that this is coming out of his agent's office because that's what Sexton does. He's excellent at his job. How many times, Jimmy, we see a player holding out of training camp, and they're like, "Man, I want to go to work. I want to go to camp. I want to go play." And the agent's like, "No, you're going to sit right there because unless you do this, this is how we get the best deal." For all we know, Lane Kiffin may want to sign one of these contracts right now.
That's why you pay for the representation.
That's
because
right.
you take out the emotion of it.
Yes.
You take out the
yes.
And
so for all we know, Lane Kiffin told Jimmy Sexton last night, "Look, I want to sign this and get this over with." And Sexton is telling him, "We are going to get you the best deal. That's why you hired me. And to do that, it's going to be painful for a little bit.
Lane reserves the right to trump Sexton at any point.
He can fire him at any time. It's his
fire
it's his
him,
job.
He can overrule him. He can do.
Yes, he can.
He can do what he reserves that right.
Yes.
So,
okay.
What do you think?
He hasn't yet.
No, I know that. I know that because I know this about Lane Kiffin. He thinks the Florida and LSU jobs are better.
Yes, he does.
He thinks the LSU.
Despite the fact that he's won more games at Ole Miss the last 5 years than at either of those places.
He's constantly whining about the disadvantages at Ole Miss. Constantly. Okay.
The Auburn job is better. They won more games than Auburn. He turned that down 2 years ago, 3 years ago, whatever it was. Florida job's better. LSU job's better. He's won more games than those two schools too.
And when he says, "I'll tell Jimmy," that doesn't mean anything. It's man, I'm not listening to anything. This little cream puff piece about his daughter's not going to let him leave Oxford. Okay, all right, whatever. I'm not buying into all that nonsense.
Doesn't the daughter's boyfriend live here?
For loving Oxford, she spent a lot of time in Baton Rouge. Don't forget our friends at Legacy Title. Chad Reynolds, a Legacy Title for all of your real estate closings. 296-0060, full-service title company servicing all of South Louisiana. Fast, friendly, professional service is what you get every time you call 296-0060. Chad Reynolds, Legacy Title.
Live at Big Mike Sports Bar and Grill, live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch.
I'm here with Blake Hollingsworth from Hollingsworth Richards Ford. Blake, y'all got some big news.
We sure do, Scotty. For the first time in a long time, Ford has now come back out with 0% for 60 months on all remaining 2025 F-150s. It's the first time in a long time they've done it. We've got over 150 in stock. So if you're in the market to purchase an F-150, this is a great time to do so. So come by and see us on Florida Boulevard or visit us online at HollingsworthRichardsFord.com.
Offer excludes Raptors.
Yo, Baton Rouge, this is Jacob Hester. Ochsner Andrews Institute is here to get you moving and keep you moving. Their team of experts connects you to more specialized care with a nationally renowned orthopedic and sports medicine program, providing the most advanced equipment and modern facilities, including convenient walk-in orthopedic clinics, covering you from the field to fast forward your healing. Ochsner Andrews Institute. Long live you. Learn more at ochsner.org/BRortho.
Picture your dream bathroom. Got it? How about making it happen with David Duvall and One Bath and Closets? For more than 3 decades, David's been remodeling homes with a concentration on the most popular room in your home, your bathroom. Whether it's a tub to shower conversion or a complete renovation, the great thing about One Bath and Closets is that David handles everything. One company, one contractor, One Bath and Closets. Check out the gallery of his most recent projects and schedule your free in-home consultation online at onebathandclosets.com. That's onebathandclosets.com.
Hunters, it's time to show off that trophy whitetail. Southern Outfitters and Ruttin and Strutton Taxidermy are teaming up for the Big Buck Contest 2025 to 2026. It's free to enter. Just harvest a whitetail buck in Louisiana or Mississippi and have it scored at Ruttin and Strutton Taxidermy in Zachary. Winners will be announced February 21st at Southern Outfitters with prizes, lunch, and door drawings all afternoon. Tag your buck, get it scored, and join the fun. Visit Southern Outfitters in Zachary for all the details or southernoutfittersla.com.
Actual price will depend on product and subscription plan. Featured products are compounded drug products, which the FDA does not approve or verify for safety, effectiveness, or quality. Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. See website for details, restrictions, and important safety information.
Want a boost in and out of the bedroom? Hims has you covered. Introducing a new 2-in-1 approach to level up your game. Tadalafil for better bedroom performance and zinc for testosterone support. Put it all together and you've got what you need to turn things all the way up. Getting started is simple. Just go to hims.com/radio to start your free online visit. Through Hims, you can access ED treatments including pills, chews, and more. 100% online. No office visits, no pharmacy lines. Just fill out a simple intake form and a licensed medical provider will determine if treatment's right for you. If prescribed, it ships free and discreetly to your door. Find affordable treatment options at up to 95% less than brand names at hims.com/radio. That's hims.com/radio. HIMS.com/RADIO.
It's Clutch and Christmas. Braveheart Louisiana, a group focused on improving the quality of life for kids who have experienced the trauma of being removed from homes due to abuse or neglect, is inviting you to bring your ride and give back. Saturday, November 22nd from 9 a.m. to noon. No revving, no burnouts. Bring an unopened, unwrapped toy or $10 entry fee to Salt Pepper Oak 6721 Exchequer. For more info, visit Braveheart Louisiana on Facebook.
At Synergy One Linden, we honor our brave veterans. I'm Toby Arsenault, a proud Marine and fellow veteran. If you want to learn more about exclusive benefits just for veterans, look us up at synergyonelending.com/BatonRouge.com.
Toby Arsenault, NMLS 96596, an agent of Synergy One Lending Inc., NMLS 1907235, equal housing lender.
Have you ever heard of a trash company having 5-star reviews? At Trash Ranger, we have over 1,000 of them because we take care of our customers. See for yourself at TrashRangers.com today.
Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. 5 brands on one lot. Shop BayouAutomotive.com.
Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny from Big Mike's Sports Bar and Grill in Denham Springs on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Jimmy, Charlie, and Troy. 3 best buddies sitting around talking sports bets. Let's welcome in Troy Macker from Bet Rivers.
Troy, what's going on?
Oh, not much. Just recovering from the weekend and getting ready for another fun week of sports.
Hey, Troy, we're watching, we're doing Football Sunday yesterday, and we're watching the end of the Washington-Miami game in Madrid. Some interesting game management. What's the feel from Redskin or Commanders land about, just passing on, taking a lead with 2 minutes to go with a short field goal attempt?
Yeah, frustration with field goal kicker. The team hasn't had a good field goal kicker since I was in elementary school, which was a very long time ago.
Chip Lomiller.
There's also some demons because the only other time the Commanders have played overseas, they actually played in a tie against the Bengals, and it's because the field goal kicker missed 2 field goals, including one at the end of regulation and one at the end of overtime to pick up the win. So. I think at this point it's just projection. I don't think anyone wants to see Jaden Daniels back on the field. Not because we don't like him, but there's no reason for him to come back and play and potentially get hurt. Let's finish out this season and get a draft pick. I think there's also some frustration with they were running the ball pretty well. Why they throw in the very first play of overtime and to give the Dolphins back with a bad interception. Mariota has been playing well, so. I actually enjoy waking up and especially with little kids watching the 9:30 game, so I can get the stench of defeat out, well before lunchtime.
So where is this season's done. But what's still some hope, with Daniels if he comes back that they were going to be able to kind of right this thing because I don't know, man. Some of the game management with the coach is a little bit perplexing.
Yeah, so I think the biggest concern is, I don't dispute what they did this offseason. They caught lightning in a bottle last year. All the things broke well. And then they decided, Adam Peters, in his second full year as GM, decided not to go all in for this year, but, they made big trade for Deebo Samuel, big trade for Laramie Tunsil. They signed some more one-year vets. And they didn't really address a lot of long-term issues. Now, a lot of that stemming from the last regime left the cupboard bare. But so a lot of the goodwill that people had in Adam Peters last year has kind of gone by the wayside because the injuries have ravaged the team, and now it's looking like we need to go back 2 years ago to a rebuild. Now, certainly we have the most important piece in the quarterback, but the cupboard is very bare. They need seated inside linebacker. They need line help all over the place on the defensive line. Their secondary is terrible. They need upgrades at running back and wide receivers, and tight end. They tried to kind of speed up the process this year. It didn't work. Some of it's their fault, some of it's injuries. But they need to really, really hit on draft picks and hit on maybe young players in free agency because this team is void of a lot of depth and talent.
We had a lively debate over here, a game that featured one offensive touchdown, but plenty of fourth down failures last night for Detroit and Philadelphia combined, mostly for the Lions. Dan Campbell goes 0 for 5 on fourth down. Eagles 0 for 1 on a tush push, too, by the way. So 0 for 6, but on their own territory. And then Campbell's actually got his offense on the field in a 10-point game instead of attempting a field goal to make it a one-possession game on 4th and 7, not 4th and 2, 4th and 17. What happened there? Did a timeout happen, or they eventually was going to get a delay a game where he changed his mind?
Eagles called timeout.
Eagles called timeout. What
Help
are they doing? What's your thoughts, Troy?
Well, my thoughts are the Lions left points on the board. They lost by 7 points, and they went for fourth down at least twice in field goal range, and you mentioned one of them. And then, well, it's inconsequential now, but those 2 field goals give you 6 points. They lost by 7. Where's that seventh that other point coming from? Oh, the penalty that Jameson Williams got on the first touchdown.
Yes.
That pushed back the field goal, and the field goal or the extra point was missed. So they left the 7 points they needed to tie the game. 1 was a player error, and 2 were coaching errors. And while that was a brutal game, and they didn't play very well, the points were there. They just did not execute, and they in their head, and it was all mental mistakes, in my opinion. I like coaches going for it on fourth down, but sometimes you got to reverse to the mean and do the safe thing, which is take the points. I think both the Commanders and Dolphins could have done that a little bit more in their game, even though they wanted to go for it. But I mean, the Lions are still a very good team. It's just this is the second straight primetime game that the Eagles have played in that it's just been a slog. And if their offense isn't working out well, they got a defense that can just drag people into the mud, even the best teams, and that's what they seem to be doing right now.
One of the things that factors into my opinions on go for it or kick is, man, when you run up the gut and you get stopped for negative yardage. Well, you're not running it up and gut again, so you kind of dictate and telling the defense that you got to pass. So that's kind of become one-dimensional. Another thing, Charlie, too, Goff is 14 of 37 last night. He's on his way there. So you got to have less confidence in your quarterback making these plays, too.
It looked like at times that the offensive line of the Lions was on roller skates. That many batted balls,
Well, Jalen Carter's becoming real good at it lately.
And he's not the only one. Brandon Graham was there. What did they bat? 6 balls, 7 balls last night at the line of scrimmage. I mean, they really got to push up front. And that's certainly got to affect your decision-making, too.
Hey, Troy, everybody, most of the players on Kansas City last night in sort of a more desperate spot than the Denver Broncos?
Yeah, it was actually not as wild as I thought. I mean, it didn't really rate well in terms of, a lot of money or a lot of tickets. Chiefs -4 was the 4th most wagered on play, but I was surprised at how it kind of just it was another game, and there were a lot. Maybe it was because there was what was it? Rams Seahawks was another really good game, and so it did not rate in terms of being the massive intake and tickets or handle that I would have anticipated. And I think maybe that's due to people being a little bit off the Chiefs. They're now 5-5. They've been surging a little bit, but the Broncos really haven't been able to get anything going on offense the last few weeks. And prop markets are really massive, especially for Chiefs games. Even if Kelsey hasn't had a great year, he's still one of our most popular props. But you can't really do that with the Broncos because people don't like taking unders, and you have to take unders on Broncos, and we didn't see a lot of player props on that one.
Well, the has-been Super Bowl tonight. And it's funny that these two teams that were really good back in that era never faced off in a Super Bowl between the Cowboys and the Raiders. But what have you done for me lately here? How are they going to don't flex out of this one? But Cowboys bring eyeballs, I guess. Where's the action tonight? Cowboys and Raiders.
Yeah, I mean, as anticipated, 95% of the money, 90% of the tickets on the Cowboys to win outright. Okay. And honestly, minus 190, that's not. I think they're going to win. I know it's short, but it's not minus 245 or something, which I would anticipate. The Raiders are not good in terms of spread. 71% of the money and 85% of the tickets are on the Cowboys, and 68% of the money and 69% of the tickets on the over. And the Cowboys have been an over team for the most part this year. They score a lot, and their defense is terrible. But at over under 50, you're basically relying on the Raiders to help out in that equation, and I don't know how much you can rely on the Raiders. The play I like in this one is actually a player prop, and I'm not a huge player prop guy, but this trend just stands out as Geno Smith has thrown at least one interception in each of his last 10 home games. And I believe it's like minus 165 for him to throw at least one interception. I know that the Cowboys defense isn't great, but I think the Raiders offense is worse. So that is a prop I do like tonight.
All right. I'm not sure if you know this or not, but a couple of games in the SEC. And let's start off with Florida and Ole Miss because this deep into the season, the lines are pretty good. We don't see as much movement as earlier in the season. Not the case with Florida and Ole Miss. This thing started around 11 or 12. It went past 17. It went off at 10.5. I mean, this thing was all over the board. Kind of parallels the rumors about Lane Kiffin's future right now. But any reasoning to that you know of, Troy?
No, not that I know of. There was another game. I can't remember. Maybe Miami, North Carolina State was another one that I couldn't find a middle point in the line. It bounced all over the place. And we've taken a lot of action on Ole Miss in the last few weeks. But the only strong play in this game was there are a ton of tickets on Ole Miss to beat Florida outright, which is no surprise. But I have no idea why that game fluctuated as much as it did.
Alabama, according to a lot of people, the number one public play. They lose outright as a 6.5-point favorite. Was that the case at Bet Rivers as well?
Yes, sir. Most wagered on play was Alabama to win. Third most wagered on play was Alabama to cover. First and second most popular plays by tickets were Alabama to win and cover. So right there is about 5% of all Saturday college football tickets were down the drain. The SEC on Saturday was kind of wackadoo. Alabama should have won that game, I think, but Oklahoma played okay. It was just an odd game. Texas, I don't understand why so many people were backing Texas plus 4.5 at Georgia. Georgia's a good team. I don't trust Texas. And then obviously, I went to a college basketball game on Saturday, and I checked as I'm walking out, I checked the score, and I had to triple take to see if this was in fact accurate that South Carolina was up 30-3 at halftime on Texas A&M, and everyone had written closed the book on Dan Elko hours after he signed the extension, and then we obviously know what happened in the second half.
We were up against the clock, but real quickly, any tickets early when Texas A&M was so far behind money line?
Yeah. Texas A&M is the fourth most popular ticket, and a lot of it was live. Maybe not super duper long, but people got with Texas A&M. A lot of people got Texas A&M at plus money.
Maybe once they showed some signs that they were going to maybe come back.
And the highest you could have got them at was somewhere around plus 700 at halftime.
Oh, I would think
Yeah,
more
I
than
believe
that.
so. I thought
Down
plus
30 to 3.
650.
Plus what, Troy?
I saw it right around halftime, maybe third quarter it just started, but I saw it at plus 650.
Okay,
I saw
right around 7.
750.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, right around 7 to 1. Troy, thank you, buddy. We appreciate it. We'll talk to you Friday.
Have a good one, guys. Thank you.
Here at Big Mike's in Denham Springs, live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle, unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. And right now you can try it for free at ziprecruiter.com/free. With ZipRecruiter, one click sends your job to hundreds of top job sites. But more than that, ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies the candidates with the skills you need, sends you a list of great matches to review, then actively invites them to apply for your job. And the results speak for themselves. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. That's right, the first day. Now you can focus on your business and let ZipRecruiter do the work finding the best people for you. See for yourself. Experience the ease, efficiency, and power of ZipRecruiter for free. Just go to ziprecruiter.com/free. That's ziprecruiter.com/free. ziprecruiter.com/free.
Looking to buy, build, or refinance a home? At GMFS Mortgage, we make it easy because we're local. Our underwriting and processing happens right here in the Baton Rouge office. That means faster approvals, smoother closing, and real people who understand your needs. For over 26 years, we've helped our neighbors in Louisiana achieve the dream of home ownership. Visit gmfsmortgage.com to get started today. We are GMFS Mortgage, your local lender.
GMFS. NMLS number 64997 is an equal housing lender. Mortgages originated at 7389 Florida Boulevard, Suite 200A, Baton Rouge, Louisiana 70806.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-471-9773. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-471-9773. 800-471-9773. For $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with, call Big Lou at 800-471-9773 or biglou.com. That's 800-471-9773 or biglou.com.
Everybody's talking about the big, beautiful bill, and it's game-changing for taxpayers. Hi, this is Kerry Bryson with the Bryson Law Firm. We've read the bill, and if you've been putting off a tax problem, it's time to call the Bryson Law Firm and get it resolved. This new legislation could give you a chance to get things straight with the IRS. Whether it's getting caught up on unfiled returns or negotiating IRS debts, there are a lot of new deductions and opportunities in the big, beautiful bill, and the Bryson Law Firm knows how to use them strategically. We've been staying on top of the tax changes in the big, beautiful bill, and we're ready to help our clients take full advantage. So if you owe back taxes or haven't filed returns in years, it's time to call the Bryson Law Firm and finally resolve your tax issues. Remember, if you have tax problems, you have legal problems. Call the Bryson Law Firm. Our headquarters are in Lafayette, and we have offices statewide. Or visit brysonlawfirm.com to schedule your free consultation with your local tax resolution law firm. The Bryson Law Firm, LSP filing number LA2519079.
Fall is the perfect time to fine-tune your game at Golf Tech Baton Rouge. Whether you're chasing lower scores or just getting started, our certified coaches and cutting-edge technology will help you play your best. From personalized lessons to precision golf fittings, we've got everything you need to elevate your swing. So don't wait for spring. Stop by Golf Tech Baton Rouge this fall and take your game to the next level. Golf Tech, located in Town Center across the street from City Park.
Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny from Big Mike's Sports Bar and Grill in Denham Springs on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
All you can eat boiled shrimp here on Monday nights at Big Mike's Dollar Wings every Wednesday night. Word out of Atlanta today is Adam Schefter, among others, reporting that Michael Penix has suffered what they think is a potentially season-ending knee injury. At the very least, he's going to miss this week's game against the Saints. Came down awkwardly on that knee yesterday in the third quarter. Left the game. Kirk Cousins finished it. Of course, Jimmy, we know back from his time in college, multiple season-ending injuries for Michael Penix when he was at Indiana, before Indiana was Indiana. But before he went to Washington, 2018, torn ACL, had season-ending shoulder injuries twice in his college career. He was healthy at Washington the last 2 seasons that he was there, and they were terrific.
At all.
Yeah. So he's had a history, but not maybe a recent history. But he is going to miss some time. Probably be out of.
Well, this was discussed
time.
when he was being, when the draft was coming.
Yeah.
When you got a range of opinions. I mean, he had a series of injuries, and also Cousins. Speaking of injuries, he doesn't look close to what he was pre-injury.
No. Saints likely to see him on Sunday afternoon in the Dome. It's a 3:25 start for Falcons and the Saints. We're back with hour number 2 here at Big Mike Sports Bar and Grill on Aspen Square in Denham Springs, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch.
There's no championship league for small business owners, but if there was, you'd be at the top of the standings. Because going pro with Lenovo Pro means you've got the winning formation, one-on-one advice, IT solutions, and customized hardware powered by Intel Core Ultra processors help you stay ahead of the competition. Business goes pro with Lenovo Pro. Sign up for free at lenovo.com/pro.
Lenovo. At Bank of America, we asked our teammates, what makes this company a great place to work?
There's very little that you can't accomplish working for Bank of America.
If you prove yourself, you can try over in a totally new way.
You can learn so much here. You're the owner of your career.
See how our teammates are growing in their careers at bankofamerica.com/great place to work. What would you like the power to do? Bank of America, proud to be an equal opportunity employer.
Bring your backyard to life with a pool from Renaissance. Known for custom craftsmanship and one-on-one attention, Renaissance Home and Pools turns your vision into reality. Owner Joey Blanchard brings 20 years experience and cutting-edge 3D designs, so you'll know exactly what to expect every step of the way, from the first sketch to your first swim. Renaissance delivers pools built to inspire and to have fun in. Visit builtbyrenaissance.com and let your backyard renaissance begin.
Hey, it's Gordy Rush, and we're excited to introduce Guaranteed Digital Media, your trusted partner in navigating the ever-evolving digital landscape. We offer a full suite of digital media services designed to help your business grow online. The digital world can be complex. Let the team you already know and trust guide you through it. Get a free website audit today. Visit GuaranteeMedia.com. GuaranteeMedia.com.
Depression can feel hopeless, draining your energy and joy, but there's a proven way forward. At NeuroJust, TMS therapy is FDA approved, covered by insurance, and backed by 30 years of research. This safe, non-invasive treatment re-engages the parts of your brain tied to mood, with over 85% of patients seeing real results, many achieving full remission. Imagine peace, better sleep, and the freedom to enjoy life again. Start your healing journey today. Visit NeuroJust off Bluebonnet in Baton Rouge or online at neurojust.com.
In South Louisiana, dirt and pollen are always in the air, and Cajun Soft Wash is here when you need them. Trusted by schools, businesses, and homeowners, their soft washing protects your property year-round. When it's time to clean, think Cajun Soft Wash. Visit CajunSoftWash.com.
This Thanksgiving, arrive in elegance. The Genesis lineup blends luxury, innovation, and tech, crafted for those who savor the finer journey. From the sleek G70 to the commanding GV80, every detail is designed to impress. Give thanks for a drive that's stuffed with style and carves a path of pure sophistication. Genesis of Baton Rouge on airline at Pico or online at genesisbatonrouge.com, where luxury and gratitude meet the road.
The holidays, all about great food, laughter, and time together. And Ruffino's is the perfect place to make it happen. Whether it's a big family dinner, a holiday party, or just a night out with friends, Ruffino's is serving up festive cheer all season long.
Book your table today at Rufino'sRestaurant.com. Rufino'sRestaurant.com. Rufino's, where Louisiana comes to celebrate the holidays.
Insurance companies have teams of professionals to fight your claim. If you want to know what your case is really worth, I'm Spencer Callahan. I'd like to help.
Spencer Callahan is the one to see. Call 387-2323.
LA filing number 16-7970.
WNXX Jackson, KNXX Donaldsonville, and WDGL HD2 Baton Rouge. This hour brought to you by Spencer Callahan Injury Lawyers. LA 21 12681. Offices in Baton Rouge. Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny from Big Mike's Sports Bar and Grill in Denham Springs on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
Here at Big Mike's, where Monday night is all you can eat ball shrimp, starting at 5 o'clock all the way until close tonight. Wednesday nights is $1 wings. It's also line dancing on Wednesday nights here. DJ Preston Wallace in for the last two LSU regular season games. Be here on stage. They are closed during the day on Thanksgiving, but I am told now they will be opening at 6 o'clock on Thanksgiving night to come in here at Big Mike's. One of the best happy hours anywhere that you'll see from 3 until 7 Monday through Friday. It's $2.50 beer, $4 wells, and $5 wines. That's domestic draft and bottles. Also, you've got those happy hour drink prices are available on Sundays starting at 11 a.m. and going all the way until close. So come out and enjoy the NFL on Sundays. And we get into spring, college basketball, college baseball, NASCAR. Watch them on the big screens here at Big Mike's Sports Bar and Grill on Aspen Square in Denham Springs. You want to? We'll interrupt our airport stakeouts. I think that's my favorite part of coaching searches these days is the people that are staked out at the airports, staked out on the flight watch, the flight aware stuff.
Flight tracker.
Yeah, the flight trackers. It's like, hey, there was a flight that went from here to there, and you find out that it's some business guy on some business trip. It's got no idea what's going on.
Those sites are pretty accessible.
It's Miss Terry.
Yeah, right.
I've used it before when my flight was coming in late. I'm like, where the hell is this plane?
So that's what the software is supposed
What's the latest
to be for.
odds? Anybody check the odds board on the Kalshi? I'll say this: Kalshi is more accurate than Bet Online.
Way better.
Humax.
Yeah, way better.
Explain what that is.
Kalshi is a legal sports. It's not a sports book actually. It's a prediction market, so you can bet on anything from the weather in New York
legal.
City to politics, anything. It moved significantly. He was up to Lane Kiffin was 75% to go to Florida as recently this weekend. He's down to 59% from the weekend. To give you an idea, there's $537,000 that's been in that market. So there's a lot of money that's moving this around, either yes or no. You can bet no on Lane Kiffin not to go to Florida, right? For LSU right now, it's a little bit kind of stagnant right now. They haven't really moved around. Lane Kiffin at 27%, followed by Summerall at 17% and Joe Brady at 13%. Eli Drinkwitz, among others.
You got an Auburn one on there with Summerall?
There is an Auburn one. Let me find it.
He seems to be trending in that direction, having grown up in Huntsville.
Yeah.
He and his wife.
I think an interesting one, while I get to that one, is what happens if Ole Miss has a job opening, right? That's a more attractive job, perhaps, than Auburn. Summerall is 54% to go to Auburn.
Here's a good question. Is Ole Miss, if both jobs were vacant in 2 weeks, which one's more attractive, Ole Miss or Auburn?
Auburn.
That's the chalk. That's the way it's always been. And we have to ask ourselves: is it still this way? I get when people say that the LSU job is better than the Ole Miss job, the Florida job is better than the Ole Miss job,
but it's tightened. Okay,
it's tightened a lot.
Tightened. Yeah. All right, but still, I mean, Ole Miss has never been to the conference championship game. 3 straight coaches won the national championship at LSU
under the old format.
Right, but Well, I mean, it's still it's not like ancient history.
No, but we live in a world now where Indiana, Vanderbilt, and Texas Tech are going to go to the playoffs.
Is Lane Kiffin maxing out his resources or close to it at Ole Miss?
Yes, I believe that.
All right. So with that, when he leaves, I'm saying Ole Miss guy, and I'm giving $10,000 a year because we're more on the map. We matter a little bit more. When I lose my coach, am I still going to put up my money?
Yeah.
How many of those guys, because they've never been long-term committed. Now, maybe they will, but I don't think it's a given.
Maybe you're hungry to prove Kiffin wrong.
I
Maybe
do
it's
know
like Notre
this.
Dame.
Yep, maybe you're Notre Dame, and you shift some things around in everything. Because if Notre Dame gave Brian Kelly everything they're giving Freeman as far as administrative support and all of this, admission support, he'd have never left.
Yep.
He'd have never, because, according to Tim Murray, our guy at Notre Dame, he said they got a little sour because, and listen, Kelly, every coach at every athletic department wants more, okay? But he was maxing out, he was asking for more, and they just weren't. We've seen Notre Dame say before, they have a history of saying, we're Notre Dame, we don't need that, okay? Well, they gave Freeman everything that Kelly was demanding because they were jilted. And they said, so will Ole Miss say, we're not going to be showing up. We got to show that. And, do they have enough leadership to rally that type of support in Oxford? I don't know. They don't have the numbers. They don't have the history. They don't have a Yellowwood at Ole Miss, okay? And Yellowwood contributed to Troy when Summerall was there, okay? He's coached in the conference. And, who are they firing? What don't they like about Hugh Freeze?
What do they like about Hugh Freeze? He plays too much golf.
Okay, a little lazy, maybe. Okay, that's a lazy meter, or an uncommitted meter, but also retread. He's not as great as the current landscape of roster building.
An offensive guy.
Summerall, has he done a good job roster building?
Yes, at two different places.
What's that, man?
An offensive guy who had no offense. A quarterback guy who had no quarterback. I mean,
he handpicked, Arnold. So, I mean, for them, that's one of the biggest beats. You want to talk about an upset. I mean, that's Appalachian State beating Michigan with the blocked field goal. I mean, I'm sorry, Duke should not beat Auburn. Mensa should not have to go right past Auburn all the way to Durham. That should not happen.
Well, I'm just wondering, and I don't have the exact answer to this, but I'm looking at a college landscape now where here in a couple of weeks, Indiana, Ole Miss, and Texas Tech are going to make the playoffs, and Florida, Texas, LSU, and Auburn aren't. Is that if Kirk Cignetti tomorrow decided that he wanted to be the next coach of the New York Giants, okay, what's the Indiana job now? After you've seen
he's improved it for sure. Yeah. He has gotten some people excited, and will they capitalize on what we always talk about? Did you leave it in better shape than what you inherited? And that is the biggest example at Indiana, okay? And the great thing is, too, Charlie, even with their pitiful athletic program, and it's been pitiful for a long time, because the basketball, that's so ancient history. Their biggest accomplishment under Bobby Knight. That's 30, 40 years. They still got that Big Ten affiliation. So they still have some budget. And so that's that always gives you a chance at Minnesota, at Wisconsin, and at some of these other places. Even UCLA, who has to cut part of their check to Cal Berkeley.
Right.
Yes.
The job at Indiana, I think, this is just my opinion from the outside, is coach generated right now, okay? The coach made the difference. But when I think about Texas Tech, and this is probably not fair to Joey McGuire, who I think has done a great job there, but I think of that as athletic department revenues generated, okay?
Alumni. It's double equal. It's one guy.
Well, there's more than one, actually. He's the main guy, but there's more than one of them.
Name me anybody bigger in the country.
No, I can't name anybody bigger than him. I'm saying he's got 2 or 3 other guys that are billionaires underneath him that are giving money too.
Who's hustling him? It's Corey Kimball.
Yeah, no, he's the big dog. I'm not disputing. Yeah, I'm just saying he's not by himself over there. There's several other billionaires that are giving money to that school.
They got something called oil in Texas, Charlie.
Yeah, there's a lot of it.
That helps.
There's a lot. So I would say that the Texas Tech thing is a lot more sustainable than the Indiana thing. Okay, if Cignetti leaves Indiana, I'm not sure
got basketball goals. They don't have oil.
I'm not sure they can say. If Joey McGuire decides to take the next job of the New York Giants,
once upon a time, a resource was how many blue chippers you produced in your state, huh? Now it's how much oil you got.
And the proximity of those people to your campus.
And then Texas also is, they've now surpassed Florida as the most players in the NFL. They played their high school ball in Texas. Now they've got 50% more population. It's not per capita. I still think that Florida is the best brand of football in the country, high school football in the country, but they got more. And so they have a lot of money, but he's the guy that started to get the others excited. I mean, and why not? I mean, it's easy to ask others for money when you're putting your own up.
Yeah, it gives you a layer of credibility for sure.
Absolutely.
I'm just saying that with these jobs, we used to be able to put them in order, at the very least on tiers.
We're having to reshuffle the deck.
It's muddled now. It's a lot.
But I still think that, Texas Tech, I think they are, what is it? Is it $20 million is the collective they agreed on?
I'll take your word for it. I just know.
I thought it was 20.3.
Oh, no, 20.5 is the cap, yes, the revenue share. The revenue share.
Texas Tech's got a $30 million payroll this year. And their athletic.
No, that's NIL. That's not revenue share.
Well, guess what?
Money's money. I get it.
Remember that silly little board that was going to identify and rule the legitimacy of the NIL?
Right.
They realized that's they tried to do it. It's they can spend as much as they want, and they got a lot. And so now they have a little something okay, I got something for my money. Because Maryland's got to Maryland and Wisconsin have to make statements, put out public statements. No, we're not firing our coach. I mean, this is a new day. I mean, when did that happen? Never.
Not very often. More often than not, you saw the dread. It used to be called the dreaded vote of confidence. Your athletic director would come out a couple weeks before Thanksgiving and say, "We have the utmost confidence in Coach so and so to lead us into the future." And 2 weeks later, they'd be fired.
So you got more firings than ever. You got others that are having to make announcements to try and keep their boosters, alum, fans, supporters, keep them just kind of
a very fancy way of saying we can't afford to fire the guy.
Right, when saying what it would cost us of paying Mike Loxley and all of his assistants. We'd rather spend that money this past offseason, including our freshman quarterback Malik Washington, to try and keep him stay here because he's got a lot of offers, But that's a crazy one, huh? The win total was 4.5. They go out to a 4-0 lead. 4-0 start in their record. Their next 3 games, they have a lead in the fourth quarter. They're 4-7 now. 4-6, 4-7. They might not even win.
I hadn't been paying that close attention.
I have because
you make
that was one of my picks too. As far, but I mean, they lost a 20-point lead at home to Washington. They lost another lead. I mean, so. They've had their tough luck, and it was a promising season because Washington looked like he might be the real deal, a freshman quarterback, unlike Underwood or Manning. That was it looked like he was hitting the floor running early. And speaking of which, you think Georgia was a little tired of all that hoopla to Austin? You think so? Wait a minute. They getting all the hype, man. We've been doing this for how long here in Athens?
Since they grew those hedges on the side of the stadium. I want to talk about that game. I just had to get some more of this coaching stuff out because
it's
that's
fun.
We're
gonna see some things going on in the next week or two. Got to because the signing date, they have to salvage it. It's on all of the decision makers, the search committees. It's all on their list, and that's why things are getting antsy. That's why things are getting aggravated and flat out a little uncomfortable in Oxford.
Things a week from today, things will.
Why aren't you signing this deal? Why are you not signing? We have given you everything you've asked for, everything and then some. We promised to give you more. Why are you not signing this deal?
Because the longer I wait, the more you're going to give me, or the more somebody else is going to give me. That's my answer. Or put another way, because Jimmy Sexton told me to. He told me to just sit tight, and I'll get even more. There is no there is no number. There is no number.
There's a deadline. Ole Miss has to know at some point if they're replacing him.
Oh, they're trying to put pressure on him, but he's got the leverage. They're going to fire him. And this is why. And everybody talk. Who just got the recent contract? Gave him all kinds of. Who just got the biggest the renewal? Oh, what coach was it?
Well, Signetti got his.
No, we know about Signetti. I mean,
Matt Rule.
Matt Rule, and there was another one that just got a new deal. I mean, are we all criticizing those contracts now? But is Rule a lock in Lincoln?
Elko got one.
Elko Saturday. Saturday, yeah.
I mean, boom! Looked like he just stayed in. Was celebrating with the champagne. He didn't come out for the first half. He had to sober up in the second half, huh, Charlie?
He sobered up in a hurry.
I mean, they're getting drilled in the first half by 4 touchdowns, and there's the crawler at the same time. Mark Elko signs his extension. I mean, well, is there a lock that he's going to stay? That he's going to keep winning?
Not at that level, no.
No, well, I mean,
but
everybody said, well, these contracts are going away, these long-term. Well, they're still popping out because the coach can make a difference. But there's no lock to sustain it.
We're brought to you by the Thibodeau Store, the Pierreport Store, the LaRose and Lockport stores. Get online right now at thethibodeaustore.com. It'll get you to any of these websites. Their Black Friday deals are on there right now, and one of the points of emphasis today is power tools. So if you're looking for Christmas gifts for dad, for your husband, for your brother, cordless power tools, nails and staplers, all of your air compressors, all of your hobby tools, your stationary bench top power tools, all on special right now at thethibodeaustore.com. Of course, it's not just that, but it's specialty gifts. The Thibodeau Store, they've got cypress furniture, crawfish pots, jambalaya pots, big green egg cookers if you want to go there. A lot of these items are available for delivery, not all, but a lot of them. And same-day pickup is available if you start at the website at thethibodeaustore.com. 900 St. Patrick Highway in Thibodaux and Highway 70 in Pierreport, and the 2 newest locations in LaRose and Lockport. The Thibodeau Store and thethibodeaustore.com. Take a break here at Big Mike Sports Bar and Grill, live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch.
Baton Rouge, get ready for a fiesta of flavor. Whether you're craving sizzling fajitas, cheesy enchiladas, or the best margaritas in town, Las Palmas Mexican Grill and Rio Cantina Mexican Grill have you covered. Bring the family, bring your friends, and bring your appetite. From fresh guacamole to mouth-watering tacos that hit just right, it's not just a dinner, it's a celebration. So why wait? Tonight, make it Las Palmas or make it Rio Cantina, 2 local favorites serving up authentic Mexican taste right here in Baton Rouge. Las Palmas Mexican Grill and Rio Cantina Mexican Grill, where every night's a fiesta.
At Town Square Pizza, we take pride in serving Baton Rouge with fresh, delicious, piping hot, personalized pizza with unmatched speed. Whether you're a downtown worker, a family looking for convenience and value, or an out-of-towner staying at one of the nearby hotels, Town Square Pizza is the spot for you. Try a specialty pizza like the Spanish Town Supreme or custom build your own. Family packs, kids' meals, and salads are available as well. It's hip to be square at Town Square Pizza, downtown facing. What else? Town Square.
This is Charles Henniger for Home Bank. If you're tired of the impersonal, one-size-fits-all style of banking, you deserve a bank that delivers exceptional service and personalized attention to your needs. That's the Home Bank standard. Since 1908, Home Bank has been a trusted financial partner for your businesses and families because they go the extra mile to help you reach your goals. See for yourself why Home Bank is good for business and good for life. Stop by any South Louisiana, Houston, or Natchez area location or find out more at home24bank.com. Home Bank, member FDIC.
Go Automotive has a great selection of new cars: Chevy, GMC, Hummer, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram. You rather a pre-owned vehicle? Using our resources will help find you any vehicle that you're looking for. Our service department offers VIP service. You never have to come to the dealership. We'll pick up the vehicle at your home or office, drop off a loaner, service the vehicle, and return it when it's done. Mention my name, Jimmy Ott, for VIP pricing. The Chevy Tahoe I drive came from Go Automotive. That's Go Automotive in LaPlace and Plaquemine. If you're near the north side of campus, I need to remind you about a couple of longtime favorites. Highland Coffee's the original specialty coffee shop in Baton Rouge since the 1980s. My personal favorite. Love getting my cappuccino from their friendly, knowledgeable staff. Roasted right in the shop. Louis Cafe for breakfast and lunch 7 days a week. The Mitchell omelet, Cajun hash browns, Big Cheesy Lou, all served up in that famous open kitchen atmosphere. In Tigertown since 1941. Couple of great spots. Highland Coffee's and Louis Cafe just outside the north gates of LSU.
Get the 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge mobile app powered by Bayou Ford and tap the microphone icon to send us your thoughts in an audio message. Your message could be played on air. Find our app in the Apple or Google Play Store. For direct links, visit 1045ESPN.com. Tigers, Saints, Southeastern Conference. All in one place. LouisianaSports.net. No paywalls, no article limits. It's just the coverage the Louisiana sports fans want. Bookmark it today. LouisianaSports.net.
Since the 1930s, Supreme Rice has delighted their customers for all of your favorite South Louisiana dishes. Whether you like the brown, long grain, medium grain, jasmine, or the new parboiled rice, Supreme Rice makes your favorite dishes even better. They even have a healthy low-glycemic rice, a great option for diabetics and those who have high insulin resistance. Supreme Rice is proud to be part of the Climate Smart program, which promotes water conservation and reduces methane emissions so future generations of Louisiana farmers can enjoy the same benefits. For more information and great recipes, find them online at supremerice.com.
ALS is a progressive and neurodegenerative disease, and we need your help to find a cure. The mission of the ALS Association, Louisiana-Mississippi chapter, is to discover treatments and a cure for ALS, and to serve, advocate for, and empower people affected by ALS to live their lives to the fullest. Whether you are newly diagnosed, a military veteran, a caregiver, or someone looking to learn more about how to navigate living with ALS, they can help. Visit als.org to learn more. That's als.org.
Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny from Big Mike Sports Bar and Grill in Denham Springs on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Return here at Big Mike's. Again, all you can eat ball shrimp every Monday night starting at 5 o'clock. Jimmy, I don't have to ask Max his opinion of this call because I know what he would say. But I'm interested to see what you would say. This was in South Carolina, Texas A&M. This is South Carolina's first drive of the second half. A&M took the opening kickoff of the second half, went down, got a touchdown to make it 30 to 10. Okay. South Carolina puts together a drive, and they get down to the 30-yard line, and they have 4th down and 1. 7:13 to go in the game at that point. They decide to go for it.
a third.
Huh?
7:13 in the third.
In the third,
yeah,
yes.
You said
I'm sorry. It's 7:13 in the third quarter. The kicker at that distance is 4 out of 7 on the year. He had made a 41-yarder earlier in the game, just to give you the full context. A&M went for it. South Carolina went for it. They missed. They never got that close again. I know what Max is going to tell me. He's going to tell me that there's no difference between 33 to 10 and 30 to 10, right? That's
Two-possession game, two-possession game.
Okay. 3-possession game.
You're creating another opportunity for a continued spark. Now, did they create the spark in their opening drive, which resulted in a touchdown? Yeah, but if anything, that game is the poster child for momentum. And some people, momentum is an intangible. It's not something that we can put in a box score. But anybody who's played sports, have been around sports long enough, it's real. And this was part of it. You just doused the fire a little bit more, or created an opportunity. Now, if you miss the field goal, or even block the field goal, are you creating a spark too? Absolutely. I mean, if they come away with it, I think it's a tough call, Charlie. 4th and 1. It's the distance makes it tough. 4th and 4 or more, I think it's a much tougher call. 4 out of 7, that's not a given. You know that.
No,
so that's about 60-40, and I'd like to have a little bit more than 60-40 if I'm going to put my kicker out there. In college kicking, well, it's harder. It's not the pros in kicking as well. So I think it's a tough call. But no, I can live with it different way. You know what I do
I'm
like?
not killing
you know what
them
I
for the
do
call
have?
either.
You know what so I'm going to go for it. The defense. What do they fear the most on 4th and 1?
Well,
my 245-pound quarterback going on a rollout in a pass run read option, a pass run option. I mean, because I know even if the play's not available, he's so damn athletic and strong, he can take 2 or 3 guys, past the first down marker.
When I hear about a
and
team
he was
that's,
hot at that time too.
When I hear about a team that's blown this big a lead in the second half, the first thing I think of is, did they sit on the lead? They didn't. Okay, they went for it there. The next drive, 2 of the 3 they went 3 and out, but 2 of the 3 were passes. The drive after 2 drives after that, 2 of the 3 plays were passes. They got sacked on both of those. So I had to look at it as I'm watching the LSU game closer than I'm watching that game at the same time. But they didn't sit on the lead, Jimmy. They tried. They did not get conservative, but A&M came out there and made all of the plays in the second half.
We talk about it. We try and come with final judgments all the time, and it's just not the way it works a lot of time. As far as this guy's good, this guy's great. You don't know from game to game, year to year, and you don't know drive to drive, and you certainly don't know half to half. Marcel Reed was as bad as you can get in that first half, and he was good as you can get in the second half. I mean, he's a dynamic quarterback, and so are these inconsistent quarterbacks. And with the dual threat quarterbacks now, you see more variance in their play, from play to play, drive to drive, half to half, game to game. And I mean, his decisions in the first half were, nauseating. I mean, he's throwing right to Carolina DBs. In the second half, they couldn't stop him. So he was hot, man, in the second half.
And I don't think that it's a slam dunk to kick the field goal there. I'm picking on Max.
It's 1 yard to go.
Yeah, you feel like you ought to be able to make.
Because the first thing you do, did you go to a long count, try and draw them off sides? Because
give the hard count.
Worked for Kirby.
It did. That? Oh gosh, did he get him? All right, let's talk about that.
I watched it last Sunday in the NFL. Happened twice. Oldest trick in the book.
And you would think that
4th and less than 5. Let's go to a long count.
You got 4 defensive coaches on the sideline screaming, "You're deaf! You're deaf! You're deaf!" Watch the ball. But let's talk about that game for a minute here, Georgia and Texas, because this was close going into the fourth quarter. It certainly felt like the momentum might start to move in the other direction. And then Georgia gets a touchdown, and we talked about this on Football Sunday yesterday with Rohan. Kirby felt like he could seize the momentum there with the onside kick. And I know it's not a direct comparison to what Saban did in the championship game against Clemson, but he felt like, hey, here's my opportunity to seize the momentum, to steal a possession, whatever you want to call it. And they went for it, and they made it, and that put it away.
This was the national championship game was a tie game. Okay, when he did it Saturday night, it was a double-digit
21-10. They just made it 21-10.
It happened before that. So Georgia is in control. They're up 14-3. They turn the ball over, and Manning makes a play, and they score a touchdown, 14-10. The first time, it's like, all right, Georgia's controlled most of this thing, but here is Texas. Is the biggest threat that they've been. If you want to talk about win probability and in-game money line, the whole bit, it's the tightest it's been in a long time. So Kirby at 4th and 1 at his own 36 goes for it. And what does he do on 4th and 1? He lets there's Gunnar Stockton over the course of the game, and there's Gunnar Stockton when the game's on the line, huh? And he makes a throw for 10 yards to move the chains. They get to fourth down early in the fourth quarter, and at 4th and about 5, a little less than 5, he gets them to jump off sides. And so they turn it 2 4th-down conversions. They cash it in. Must have been like a 14-play drive. And then the onside kick as well, and get it and continue. And they punch that. So Texas, with as big of a threat they've been, the next time they get the ball, they're down 18 instead of 4.
Yeah.
So
he completely put the game.
He's like, I got to stop this threat by, so he wasn't even in the chase mode. But for a guy that has leaned on his personnel, his roster being bigger, stronger, faster than their opponents, which they've been for most of his run, we don't really give him a whole lot of credit for game management and stealing one of these possessions here, or this out scheming his opponent here. Kirby did a number on him Saturday night.
He's not going to win the Heisman, but if my game was on the line this Saturday, there ain't very many quarterbacks that I would take in front of Gunnar Stockton. When you think about some of the plays, the big plays in tight situations that he has made this year, in the second half at Tennessee, when they had to come from behind and that fourth down play, and they win that game in overtime. Now, they got lucky to win the game, but he made because the Tennessee kid missed a field goal, but he made the plays to get them back in it. Against Ole Miss, a game that was back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. He made plays in the fourth quarter. Against Florida, another tight game in the fourth quarter where he makes some plays. And then this one where he throws 4 touchdown passes. The kid's been clutch.
Nobody's been more clutch than Stockton, at the quarterback position. Nobody.
I mean, there are other kids with better numbers, but as far as, hey, we got to have a play right here, this kid has made.
And you were looking at that onside kick, and it's unusual, but it was that fourth down where he could have just handed the ball off. And, no, they put it in his hands and let him throw it. He was – now, I want to say he had a pick. Oh, it was a turnover. Was it a pick or a fumble in the Alabama game?
Oh,
when they were down 3 in the fourth quarter inside the 30-yard line. So I'm going to have to go back and see exactly what it was. But no, the Tennessee
game. It must have been a fumble because he didn't have an interception in that game.
Okay. So maybe it was a completion that the ball carrier fumbled it. But they had one where Alabama kind of 30-1 right now for his Heisman odds, tied for 5th. With a guy like Jeremiah Love, the running back for Notre Dame. So not nearly – Mendoza's minus 110. So it's basically him versus the field right now, the quarterback for Indiana with Sagan at plus 180. And I just think that – look, I didn't think – now, they turned the ball over, but I didn't think – I thought Simpson kept Alabama in the game on Saturday because they have no running game. They were put behind. They outgained their opponent 2-1. But and he fell off the cliff. Because his team lost. Mm-hmm. And we talked about this, fair or unfair, for years. It's a team award first. But it seems like that Big Ten championship game, how are you going to be able to – somebody's got to win. So the quarterback, one of these quarterbacks is going to win. And unless they win and throw 3 interceptions, I just don't see how anybody else is going to catch the winner of that Big Ten championship game.
I
And
can't.
Gus Johnson has such an impact on Heisman voters. Give me a Heisman now!
Hey, Gus. All right.
Oh, yes, indeed. Don't forget our friends over at Total Maintenance. Total Maintenance. I mean, we're using the air conditions one night. We're using the heaters another night. But now's the time to call my friends at Total Maintenance at 480-1000. Get those heating safety inspection checks. That's right, the heating safety inspection checks. But also, when we're just lightly using these units, you're not thinking about being really hot and really wearing those ACs out. But if your unit is over 10 years old, if your unit was serviced this past summer, this is the time to get the best deal on a replacement unit now. Carrier, American Standard, Daikin, Rheem units, all to choose from. Call our friends at Total Maintenance. You will get a lot of savings on replacing that unit right now. Call our friends at Total Maintenance, 480-1000, one of South Louisiana's oldest and largest AC and heating companies since 1980. My buddy Lucas Ragusa and his staff, he's been doing it at every level of this whole operation where he understands what it takes to put a great team together at Total Maintenance, 480-1000.
Live at Big Mike's, live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch. The Live at Lunch with Ott and Hanny Restaurant Club. Sammy's Grill on Highland Road. A hometown favorite for tailgating and watching LSU games since 1988. Snow Seafood and Steak for over 50 years on Airline, Highway, and Highway 74 in Gonzales. Dozy Place for hand-cut steaks on Government Street and Mid-City. Louis Cafe, a Baton Rouge landmark since 1941. Just outside the north gates of LSU. Finbom, sushi, burrito, poke, ramen at Burbank and Lee.
This is Charles Hanniger for Total Maintenance. For AC and heating, generators, electricity, plumbing, and more, Total Maintenance is your one-stop sales and service shop for all these needs. one of South Louisiana's oldest and largest AC and heating companies. Since 1980, their slogan has been service today, every day, so no one ever has to go to sleep hot. They're an authorized dealer for Carrier, American Standard, Daikin, and Rheem AC units, for Generac and Cummins generators as well. And now, for all of your electrical and plumbing needs, in Baton Rouge, call 480-1000. In New Orleans, 841-3300. Service today, every day. Total maintenance.
This hour of Live at Lunch with Ott and Hanny is brought to you by Dana Brown at the law offices of O.C. Brown, 343-1111, and ocbrown.com. Roto-Rooter for all your plumbing needs, 925-8710. Supreme Rice, grown, milled, processed in Louisiana since 1936. United Community Bank, the local way to bank big. Tex Morris at Edward Jones Investments on Jefferson Highway, 928-8659. Total Maintenance, your one-stop shop for AC, electrical, generators, and plumbing. Service today, every day for Total Maintenance. And Coastal Capital Advisors. Markets evolve. We adapt.
This is Buzzy Hydell for the Morris Insurance Group. Outdoorsmen in the state might be having a tough time right now finding policies to fit on the properties they love. If you've got a hunting camp, a boat, or an RV that has been difficult to insure, we want you to look again. For owners or renters, the Morris Insurance Group can help you all the way to the duck camp or the fishing boat. We also have policies on coastal properties, including flood insurance to let owners protect themselves in the event of damage. For your camps, boats and trailers, four-wheelers, ATVs, and tractors, get a quote today at morris-ig.com or call 225-201-0007.
Now, everybody's been to Louis Cafe by campus. Heck, it's been around since over 80 years now. We're still doing delicious omelets like the Mitchell, cheesy grits, big cheesy Lou, and those Louis Original Cajun hash browns. We now offer a pickup window. Just call in your order at 346-8221. Give us 15 or 20 minutes, and we'll have it ready for you. Our hours are now 6:30 a.m. to 2:30 p.m., 7 days a week. So next time you visit campus, make it a point to stop by and visit an old friend. Louis Cafe, just outside the north gates of LSU.
This is Charles Hanniger for Coastal Capital Advisors, your full-service financial planners. When it comes to retirement, there are no two situations alike. So Coastal Capital Advisors will work with you, your business partners, your legal team, and tax professionals to make sure those goals are achieved. Coastal Capital Advisors will work for you. I know, because they work for me. For more information, contact Philip Fontenot and his great staff at 337-981-1376 or online at coastalcapitaladv.com. Advisory services provided by New Age Advisors, LLC, doing business as Coastal Capital Advisors as a registered investment advisor. Securities offered through New Edge Securities, Inc., member FINRA, SIPC.
104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and First American Bank and Trust bring you the Heart of the Game Award, recognizing student athletes who deliver when it counts. Nominate your game day standout at 1045ESPN.com by the 21st. And then it's up to the fans to vote for the winners. Each winner gets a $250 gift card, a custom award, and the spotlight they've earned. Presented by First American Bank and Trust, a banking tradition since 1910. Click through the static and listen to 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge in high definition. Simply tune to 98.1 and select HD2. Live at Lunch with Ott and Hanny from Big Mike's Sports Bar and Grill in Denham Springs on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
A couple of minutes away from the Frank Wilson press conference, and then we'll be back for the other side of the show. I wanted to ask you about the Oklahoma-Alabama game. When we talked about this on Friday, I thought that Alabama would be made one-dimensional by that Oklahoma defense, and for the most part, that was true.
He had a little success running the ball.
2.4 yards per carry.
Oh, well, with the sacks. Look at the running backs.
Hill had 15 carries for 60 yards. That's better than what they have been doing. Yes,
They were okay. It wasn't as bad as it's been against weaker defenses, but just the yards were hard. And then the 70-yard pick six.
Well, yeah. So what I got right was they did put a lot of pressure on Ty Simpson. And he did make a couple of mistakes. He had the fumbling and the pick six, which was the turn in, the huge play in the game. But I was wrong in that he wouldn't be able to carry that offense with no running game against a defense like Oklahoma. Because, Jimmy, I mean, they go for well over 400 yards. They almost double Oklahoma's offensive output. So, look, he did a lot of heavy lifting to keep Alabama in that thing without a lot of running game to help.
And I'll maintain that with limited rushing attack to kind of help their balance. He has played at a high level. Now, he's got weapons. There's no doubt. But for a first-year starter, I mean, now he's not a freshman, but for a first-year starter, he's played at a pretty high level. When the yards are this hard, though, man, those turnovers 3-0, -3, and one of them is for a score.
Yeah.
I mean, that's hard to overcome. And so what it did was it put them behind the whole time. They were never leading. They took the lead 21-20, middle of the third quarter. And so to overcome that, it looked like they were on their way, huh? And give Oklahoma credit, but it was just, even though Oklahoma gave up 400 yards, they tackled well, they pressured well. They came up with a few turnovers, and their kicker is, I don't care if he's wearing a Speedo out there to kick, but I mean, my man he's the best. Who's a better kicker in college football?
I don't know. He needs to
He's a weapon.
He needs to rethink his wardrobe. But no, he can kick. No doubt.
He's a great kicker, Charlie.
No doubt about it. Okay, we're going to take you to the Frank Wilson press conference. We're back here on the other side. Big Mike Sports Bar and Grill, where on Monday nights it's all you can eat boiled shrimp. The best happy hour in the business from 3 until 7, Monday through Friday, and all day on Sunday. Back on the other side, live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Countdown until airtime will be your 30-second mark when the network will go silent. Stand by for your final 30-second mark until airtime. Coming in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Mark. 30 seconds until airtime on the LSU Sports Radio Network.
It's game week for Fighting Tiger football. Welcome in to the LSU football press conference, presented by the Louisiana Farm Bureau Federation.
Remarkable day for our university, remarkable day for our football team that displayed resiliency, toughness, all the things that make us Tigers.
Senior Day at Tiger Stadium coming up this weekend as LSU steps out of conference to take on the Hilltoppers of Western Kentucky for just the third time in Tiger football history.
Van Buren takes the snap, steps out of trouble, moving to his right, throws on the run, back of the end zone, Bauer sharp, his feet are in, he makes the catch, touchdown, Fighting Tigers!
Coming up, interim head coach Frank Wilson discusses the latest on your Tigers and previews the week ahead. But first, from the Capital One studio, inside legendary Tiger Stadium, here are former Tiger Gordy Rush and the voice of your Fighting Tigers, Chris Blair.
Once again, good Monday morning. We get set for LSU football coming off the win this past weekend over Arkansas, keeping that giant golden boot right here in Baton Rouge for the fourth straight year. This coming Saturday, it'll be back at home, 6:45 under the lights in the third meeting ever between LSU hosting Western Kentucky out of Conference USA in non-conference play before finishing up the regular season in 2 weeks on the road in Norman against Oklahoma. Welcome in to the LSU press conference. Frank Wilson will join us from football operations coming up in just a little bit. Happy to have Gordy Rush with us once again this week. And Gordy, it was, we kind of talked about it on the radio. I don't think either team are going to do a ton of cut-ups for highlights. There were some big plays, but it was just a gutty win. LSU gets down early, obviously. Quickly you look up, it's 14-0. Taylon Green in Arkansas, at least early on, looked like advertised up and down the field, using the pass and the run. Great adjustments by the LSU defense. They eventually really got him uncomfortable, and I think it affected their offensive flow.
and then got the points when they needed points. And we kind of talked about it last week. 33 points a game in league play for Arkansas. You got to shave some of that. LSU, 21 points a game. You got to do better than that. They were able to get both done.
Yeah, they were. Look, I think the first thing about this game is it was back to its traditional spot. The LSU-Arkansas game was the week after Alabama, and that's always been very tough on LSU for the last 10 to 15 years after the big emotional game of playing Alabama, and LSU gave Alabama their best punch, and then coming back after everything this team's been through for an 11:45 kickoff and responding to an Arkansas team that was coming off of an open date. They did get behind, but I love the way that this team played for the last 3 quarters of this football game. They competed and found a way to win.
Yeah, they were able to get in the end zone, and we talked about it a good bit. I'm sure fans felt the same way, that, after you get down 14-0, you want to see a little fight. And, of course, Frank Wilson has promised, regardless of the outcome of the game, his job is to get this team to fight. They certainly did, got their feet settled into the game a little bit. And then that last little sequence to end the second quarter to go into halftime. We talked last week about how it went the other guy's way the week before. And while they didn't get a touchdown, they were able to move the ball quickly, had a couple of big runs. And that was, to me, what put a smile on my face. Because we were all wondering when LSU got the ball back with, just moments remaining in the second quarter, are they going to go ahead and go into the locker room down? Do they want to try to get aggressive? They got a couple of big plays on the ground, got them up near midfield, took a shot downfield, eventually set up for Ramos to at least give them a lead. And that's a huge lift. I know they didn't get a touchdown, but the 3 points I thought were huge going into the locker room. And you could tell when Frank talked to you at the end of the second quarter.
Look, that's the way that you practice the 2-minute drill, those situations on Thursday. You run 2 draw plays, and if it clicks and you're able to get the yardage, then you go into hurry-up mode, and then you switch, and then obviously you do the things necessary to get you the kick, and which they did. Look, I thought this team did a lot of things right. It was really refreshing, again, to see the way that they fought. And then for me, we've talked about how many times on the recipe for success, Jacob Hester and I on the pregame show, that you got to be able to run the football. And LSU ran for 155 yards in this football game. That's what LSU needs to do to win in this conference.
Obviously, Harlem Berry, again, kind of set the tone, a good start, his third straight start, and he is just getting better with not just every week, Gordy, but it appears every carry. And then I thought Caden Durham did an excellent job, too, had a couple of big runs as well. I just go back to the defense, really. I won't say a tale of two halves, because I think they really started to take control of the game down the stretch in the second quarter. But what a job. You're down there on the field. I mean, what did you see as the difference?
Well, I thought that Taylor Green was really just off schedule, and especially when you kept him in the pocket. To me, he wasn't going through his progressions quick enough. He threw some errant passes. They were able to pressure him a little bit, and he was affected for the first time, really, in league play. Notre Dame did a good job up in Fayetteville against him, but that was the best that a defense had really attacked Taylor Green. They kept him off schedule and just did enough to disrupt him. And then, of course, what can you say? Was it 2 of 11, I believe, was on third down. We had the goal line stand, the 2 interceptions, the fumble. They made winning football plays.
Harold Perkins, we joked, certainly somebody at Arkansas did him wrong, or he just doesn't like him, because, we've said so many times that there are games where, maybe statistically he doesn't stand out, but he's had an impact on the game. Well, I think he did both on Saturday, because he was involved statistically, as you said, had the big interception, one of the big turnovers for Arkansas. But it was almost as if even when he was close to getting home, and when he got home, that seemed to, I think, affect Taylor Green. Where is number 7 pre-snap?
Well, it was enough that Bobby Petrino had to account for him, right? He had to count where he was in the block protection. And then on third down, so many times, he was the guy that was spying Taylor Green. And so just by him being the spy, that they didn't do as many quarterback draws, and it forced Green to throw the football. And for LSU, that's good, because you're very good in the secondary, and you're getting those passes. So, look, I think his presence on the football field was absolutely huge for LSU.
DeMarcus Cooley, also a great game on the back end of the defense. Can't say enough. It seems like every week Mansour Delane just adds to his stock each and every week. had the big interception in the end zone there. And, that's, to me, I know you look at the game and you go 23-22. I mean, my goodness, it's now an 8-game losing streak for Arkansas. What does that tell you? I thought, because of the fact, as you pointed out, they got down early, fought back. But I also thought the ability, you talked on those goal line stands. I mean, that's not something a lot of teams have done to Arkansas in the SEC. When they get inside the 10, they usually find the end zone, and LSU did an incredible job of keeping them out of there.
Like we said last week, you look at Arkansas scoreline. I mean, they put up points. Texas A&M, 45-42. They should have beat Ole Miss earlier in the season. They were driving for the go-ahead touchdown, and I think they fumbled the football, if I recall. They played great up in Knoxville against Tennessee. I mean, this is an outstanding offense. They've struggled defensively, but this is a very good offense. And if you take the special teams touchdown off the board, LSU and Blake Baker and this defense, they held Arkansas to 15 points. That's an accomplishment.
Well, we mentioned, we found out probably Friday, although we had a suspicion of which after Coach Wilson on Thursday, Gordy mentioned the fact that Garrett had re-injured that abdominal area that we'd see a lot of Michael Van Buren. As it turned out, we found out on Saturday that he would be getting the start. Your thoughts, again, on his play? I mean, I think a couple of his big runs, certainly one of the big runs, I think pretty much sealed the game. But he really had a good day, and I thought managed the offense. And one of the things Coach Wilson and I talked about Thursday night was Arkansas -6 turnover margin. LSU atop the SEC in takeaways and protecting the football, and that turned out to be big Saturday.
Turned out to be huge. Look, I thought Michael Van Buren played a nice, steady football game. He was complimented by a renewed effort to run the football. I mentioned the 155 yards. By the way, he was a part of that. I thought he had a positive 31, if I recall, somewhere in that vicinity. And I think that's huge. Anytime that your quarterback can make those plays. And, of course, on that drive to seal the football game, it was his scramble on 2nd and 16 of 30-plus yards that kind of iced the game for LSU. And, obviously, he can extend football plays, and we saw that on that touchdown pass to Sharp to get LSU the lead. His athleticism is something that certainly, I think, has helped this great receiving group. If you give those receivers more times to get into a scramble drill and break away from their primary route, they're going to find a way to make some big plays, and we saw that.
Again, I'm sure we'll hear it coming up in just a little bit. Coach Wilson, I'm sure, will be asked about the status of Nussmeier and the quarterback situation, and I'm sure whether or not he has that answer Monday, we'll have to follow that throughout the week. But I also wanted to mention before we move and turn the page to Western Kentucky, Coach Wilson, you got to love the fact, that he was super emotional and couldn't be happier for him picking up the first win as the interim head coach. And on top of that, he let it all hang out. I mean, you talk about the Bauer Sharp touchdown. I mean, that drive, they pretty much said, what do we got? Go through deep in the playbook. We're going to pull some gadget plays. And a couple of times they came up big to keep that drive going.
In the flip chart, usually you have the gadget plays down in like the bottom corner, and there's like 4 or 5 of them. I think they just went off that bottom corner that entire drive. they threw everything out there. Look, I thought it was a creative series, and it was at the right time, and it helped get the crowd into the game, and eventually led to a touchdown. Kudos to Frank Wilson. Again. It's hard to go play an emotional game like they did on the road at Tuscaloosa and come back home, not a ton to play for. It's a rivalry game, yes, but it's a game that I think Arkansas is probably held in higher higher worth than what LSU has. It's going to be a permanent one, so we're playing those guys every year. To come back and play at that level, and then for me, knowing Frank as long as I have, and to see the amount of people that came back, like a Leonard Fournette was somebody that Frank, obviously brought here. People from New Orleans, a part of this program, and what it meant for Frank, his family, and those people for Frank to get this win, his first win here in Tiger Stadium, was a special moment.
Well, again, it's the 30th meeting since they started the Golden Boot Trophy in 1996, and LSU now has held it 21 of those 30 times, and 4 years in a row it will stay and reside in football operations. Speaking of football operations, we're going to head that way in, about 8 minutes or so. Coach Wilson will talk about this past Saturday, and, of course, as he does every week, look ahead to the matchup with Western Kentucky. LSU got the win 23-22, coming from behind late in the game after struggling early on to get the win and get bowl eligible. So the Tigers now look to take on Western Kentucky. We'll find out what Gordy knows about these Hilltoppers who come in 8-2 on the season and one of the better teams out of Conference USA. We'll find out that after this quick break.
In Louisiana, we love our LSU Tigers. When the band strikes up those 4 iconic notes, the fans go wild. At Louisiana Blue, we're Tiger fans too. That's why we've teamed up with LSU.
Since the 1930s, Supreme Rice has delighted their customers for all of your favorite South Louisiana dishes. Whether you like the brown, long grain, medium grain, jasmine, or the new parboiled rice, Supreme Rice makes your favorite dishes even better. They even have a healthy low glycemic rice, a great option for diabetics and those who have high insulin resistance. Supreme Rice is proud to be part of the Climate Smart program, which promotes water conservation and reduces methane emissions so future generations of Louisiana farmers can enjoy the same benefits. For more information and great recipes, find them online at supremerice.com.
This is Charles Hanniger for Total Maintenance. For AC and heating, generators, electricity, plumbing, and more, Total Maintenance is your one-stop sales and service shop for all these needs. One of South Louisiana's oldest and largest AC and heating companies. Since 1980, their slogan has been service today, every day, so no one ever has to go to sleep hot. They're an authorized dealer for Carrier, American Standard, Daikin, and Rheem AC units, for Generac and Cummins generators as well. And now, for all of your electrical and plumbing needs, in Baton Rouge, call 480-1000. In New Orleans, 841-3300. Service today, every day. Total maintenance.
The compassion of the cross, the security of the shield, and the comfort of blue behind you. Live Louisiana. We've got you. Louisiana Blue. Louisiana True.
Trust isn't given. It's earned by showing up, leading the way, and performing at your best when it matters most. Our Lady of the Lake sports medicine experts know what it takes to improve performance and build champions at every level. That's why LSU chose Our Lady of the Lake as its championship health partner, trusting Louisiana's best medical team to care for our state's best athletes. From championship athletes to everyday champions, trusted care starts here. Visit OLOLRMC.com/LSU.
Coming up, interim head coach Frank Wilson addresses the media from football operations. This is the LSU Football Press Conference, presented by the Louisiana Farm Bureau Federation. Once again, with a preview of this week's matchup, are Gordy and Chris.
Indeed, coming up in just a few moments, Coach Frank Wilson, fresh off his first win as interim head coach for the Tigers, will let us know what to expect from the Hilltoppers who come in this week. Just the third meeting all time between these two teams. In fact, pretty recent. First meeting came back in 2011. They met again in 2015. LSU won both of those convincingly. And Gordy, this is a Hilltopper team that comes in 8-2. They picked up a win over Middle Tennessee State this past Saturday. I know we briefly looked at some of the stats. They've used 2 quarterbacks for most of the season. But they're a team that does a lot of things well. When you look at Conference USA and look at all the statistical categories, from a team standpoint, you're going to see the Hilltoppers near the top in both offense and defense.
Look, it's number one offense, scoring offense in Conference USA. I will tell you, if you did a trivia quiz and asked me who's in Conference USA, I would struggle these days. I didn't know Middle Tennessee, New Mexico State, FIU, Delaware. I did know Jacksonville State was there because I drove by Jacksonville State this summer and didn't realize that they had made the move. So it's definitely evolved in this whole realignment of conference-wise, and it's certainly an easier path for Western Kentucky, but traditionally a solid mid-Division I program going back to when Jeff Brom was there and what have you. So this is going to be a team that can score some points.
Yeah, you and I both got to learn a lot about him, but I know Coach Wilson knows. Let's go to Coach Wilson at Football Ops.
That's it. No. Who's not here? Everybody's here. Shay's not here. In unison. Shay don't count. All right, let's dive into this. Reflection for us Mondays are about the truth. The truth was we're good enough to earn victory. And that is something that is hard to do in the SEC. And so anytime we can get a win, we're extremely excited about that because you put in the work to do so. So when I tell the story of this game, if you will, we're fired up, right, to go into Tiger Stadium to play our very best. We start off, I would say, pedestrian, right? The defense takes the field first. Our opponent goes down. We bend, but we don't break. They pick up yardage, and we end the drive with a turnover. Excited. Here we go. Offense goes to the field. We go 3 and out. Ba-boom. The worst sound you could ever want to hear as a punt unit. They block it, scoop, and score. Nothing exotic, 4x4, exactly what we practice for. Don't execute. Keep our composure. Stay to the course. They then, see, y'all made me start, and there's people walking in. Ba-boom. They get it, scoop, and score, 7-0. Get back on the field offensively, we don't produce, all right? Before you know it now, here you go, it's 14-0. Just like that. It's 4 minutes remaining in the first quarter, and we finally get an opportunity to settle in and get our feet underneath us. And we do so. We go down and answer and tie the score with a great run by Caden Durham on an outside zone play where he makes the safety miss, and now it's 14-7. Defense comes out, pick. Harold Perkins make a great pick. We get the ball back, go down and get 3. 14-10. We go back and forth, get the ball again, go back down, 14-13. And now here's what we talk about all the time, that middle 8, right? The last 4 minutes of the second and the first 4 minutes of the third. Something we harp on, we emphasize, in where you steal a possession, if you will, or points. We bend again. They go all the way down to the 9-yard line or so, playing first and goal from the 9. We hold. Mansour Delane make an outstanding play in the end zone to give us the ball back. 33 seconds remaining. Call upstairs. Coach, what you want to do right now? Want to go ahead and kneel it and take it in? Absolutely not. This is a great opportunity to practice on the things that we preach. Our football team gathers themselves, and we take an opportunity to hopefully pop a run to get a 2-minute drill started. We pop a run for 10-plus, pop another for 10-plus, then you take your shot, you get a PI, take another shot, put yourself in position, and now you go down the field and 5 plays, 50-plus yards, and you're facing a third down. In 10, you pick up 12 with an outcut. You catch, you get out of bounds, and now you're in position, poised. That's at 12 seconds. Now you're about 7 seconds. You kick a field goal. You take the lead 13-16. Huge for your football team as you swing momentum. You get the ball back in the third quarter. Go out there, get 3 more, add to it for your football team. And so we go back and forth with this team, and then in the back end of the fourth quarter or third quarter, you mount a drive. You pull out all the tricks and gambits to give yourself a chance to win this game because it's required. And as we get down into the red zone area, their defensive end, they run a little switch game. The end jumps inside. The tackle should loop and have contained. He jumps back inside. And with Michael Van Buren, you got to be careful of that. He does that. We break containment. He finds Bauer Sharp in the corner of the end zone, and we take the lead. At this point, we know that this game is far from over. It's still very much in the balance. It's a 1-point football game. And so we have to we get the ball with 5 minutes and change, and at that point know how dangerous their quarterback is, and that we have to position ourselves to not give them the ball back. We can't afford to. We start a drive. We go down the field to help ourselves, and you're faced with a critical situation of 3rd and 4. And so you get 2 plus, and you play 3rd and 2 or less, we're probably going to go for it. You don't, you're probably going to kick it or not. All right, we'll see. Because at this point, with a 1-point lead, they got to come after you. And to come after you, we'll leave them vulnerable. All right, and so because if not, they go down and put you in a tough situation. Nevertheless, Harlan Berry gets the play call. It's designed to hit in between the tackles and told. If it caves inside, you'll have a one-on-one matchup with a cornerback who's going to crack replace as the receiver goes to seal the box. It'll be you and he. You'll probably be 2 yards or so at that point short of it. Go win your one-on-one. Find a way, win your one-on-one. Does an outstanding job of setting him up, jump cut, gets outside of him. But here's the critical part. At that point, we make them use their 2 timeouts before the thought process takes precedence. You win, you have to go down, because if you score with a minute something, we're currently up by 1, we'll be up by 8. They have a chance to score and, of course, go for the 2-point conversion, thus taking the game into overtime. And so a mature young runner has foresight, insight, have taken coaching, does that. He wins his one-on-one and selflessly gives up himself and his opportunities to score in the game for the good of the team. And that embodied the game. It embodied the game, and somewhere in there, I just forgot to talk about the magnificent goal line stand that I'd be remiss if I did not talk about it. That was stellar, of a defensive line that played knockback football. So proud of Tank and those guys up front that just played LSU football. What our program has been built upon for many years in style of play, of toughness, of physicality, of refuse to lose. We're denying you today in Tiger Stadium, not this day, that we're going to find a way to win this game and hoist this trophy when there's no time left. And so in the greatest formation in football, Michael Van Buren kneels down in victory to secure victory for our football team. So that's kind of a snapshot of what our game was in my mind and how it played out. So take any questions there.
Coach, I guess a lot of people have questions about Garrett Nussmeier this year. Do you think he's been compromised by this injury all year? And is he just trying to grind through it, be a leader when he played? And was he a better option, less than 100% than, say, the backup?
Yeah, I'll start with this. I don't know if you guys had a chance to see him on the sideline. I was so proud of him and his leadership and how he stood by his teammates, how he encouraged Michael through the duration of the game, as well as the entire offense and defense. He delivered in a way that was so monumental in the psyche of our team that even though he was down, he was not out. And so his contributions were significant for the morale of our football team, for the mindset of our football team. To say that he played courageously throughout the year is probably an understatement. I wasn't always privy to the injuries and the things that he was going through, but he went through a lot. He persevered through a lot. He pushed through an awful lot to give our team, himself, every opportunity to be our best. I commend Garrett for that and what he did in this year, which I thought was extremely courageous.
Hey, Frank, can you clarify, is Colin Hurley's absence permanent or temporary, and maybe whatever else you can elaborate on with his absence?
Yeah. He took a leave of personal related matters. It is temporary right now at this time.
Do you expect Garrett to dress out and compete this week?
I know he's going to want to. We're going to defer to our medical staff, our trainers, our doctors, to do what's best for him. If there's any way that he can, I know he's going to want to do so, but I don't have those answers just yet.
I get to sit in the stands with my wife and watch the game, and we're watching Harlem run the ball, and she obviously says, "Where's this guy been all season long?" Right? Could you speak to the fans maybe that don't understand the evolution that is required for a freshman tailback and kind of how it is a season-long progression?
Yeah, we kind of talked about that earlier, a couple of weeks ago, maybe about playing without the ball, right? How pivotal that is in their development, and that now, we had to protect them even early on. They're naturally running backs are naturally gifted runners, but very seldom at St. Martin's he was asked to block a 245-pound linebacker running down his throat that could have started outside and came inside, or had a mug look at one backer who pops out and he comes from the opposite way and now he has to scan back across, or to get a great pre-snap read of safety rotation into to get out as an outlet, what would be a check down but now becomes a primary for the quarterback, that are critical for the success of the team. And so that development takes time, and experience is the best teacher. They have to go through it. As great as Leonard was when we played Wisconsin, I remember talking to his father, and it's like, Skip Bayless called him a bust. It's your fault. And I'm like, well, it's not my fault that Skip said that. He shouldn't have said it, and he's wrong. And as we know, he went on to become legendary and one of the greatest, in my opinion, college running backs of all time. But he wasn't ready. And so we had to play Kenny Hilliard and Terrence McGee at that time in that game. By mid-year, he was ready, and he hit full stride and played his very best football at the back end of the season. It just takes time, and we're in the development business. It's not the National Football League. We still nurture, we still develop, we still teach, they still grow, they still ascend. People assume when they come here there's an S on their chest and we just push them out there and they go play. We're teachers. We're teachers first. And so he needed that development. He's playing his best football now. I think it'll continue in the next couple of weeks to come and on through a bowl season as his evolution comes to bear itself.
Coach, I know we're getting into some hypotheticals here, but without Nuss and without Colin Hurley, do you have a plan for an emergency quarterback behind Michael?
We do. Yeah, and so, we got a guy that went through the entire spring with us and Juwan Johnson at quarterback all the way into fall camp, who we've been constantly still working as Garrett's injury started to reveal itself even more, to have an emergency plan. And we feel confident about that. We feel confident about Emil being able to step in and get us out of the game if we needed to do so. So we have a contingency plan that we feel confident in. Yes.
Just you spoke about Mansour earlier. Just what a benefit he's been to this team, I guess, if you could kind of elaborate on what he has meant to this team and how much he has improved his stock over the course of this season.
Yeah, man, we're very fortunate to have him. I spoke about him last week, about him being a man on a mission to accomplish the things that he was looking for. And there's so many things that are not statistical superlatives, if you will. The pass breakup on the sideline on the critical third down, the coming off of shedding a block off a blocker to make a magnificent cut block. The sexy one is the interception down in there, but it's play after play. It's showing up. It's turning a play back inside to set the edge of the defense, to allow him or to allow us to corral and run to the ball, rally to the ball. His style of play has been superlative. I'd be shocked if he's not somewhere in the mention of SEC Player of the Week in this week, and at the back end of the year position himself for awards for doing the things that he's doing in this season.
Yeah, Frank, just with Aaron Burrell, he had a couple of those kicks that kind of went off to the sidelines. Is there something y'all are asking him to do on kickoffs now that maybe he wasn't doing, as opposed to just booting it through the end zone like we saw so many times, I guess, last year and early on in his season? Just what do you think went wrong on a couple of those kicks?
Yeah, we're asking him to boot it in the end zone. We'll those are the things we're asking of him. He has the capability of doing it. He's done it sometimes with great consistency. Coming back today in the injury report and seeing our medical staff, he was bothered by an old injury that we took care of. It reared its head. within the game. Unfortunately, I think that could have affected his style of play. But we're not asking him. Here's what we're asking him to do. What do you do best? He shares it with us. Do that, right? And so we're putting him in position to do the things that he does best. Unless it's a situational deal. So when we score at the back end and there's 3 seconds left, of course we want him to squib it. We don't want to give him a chance to, to return it and have a big play unnecessarily. But outside of that, just standard operation of what he has done.
Well, what is senior day like now because of the portal? Has it changed, and is it still important? Because now you've got guys here that have been here like 1 year as opposed to in the past 3 or 4 years.
Yeah, so we have 28 guys that are going to participate in senior day. Don't quote me on the number, but we got quite a few of them that have been here 3 years and more. But we do have an influx of some of the guys that we've gotten out of the portal who've been here as little as a year or going on a year and change or less than. I think for those guys, they have embraced and taken in what it is to be an LSU Fighting Tiger. I think that they have adapted and are proud to be here in the things that we're doing in our culture and our way of life. I've visited with all of them about how that will look for us on Saturday. They're extremely excited to partake in it because they've never done it, because wherever they left, they were still yet an underclassman. And so a little different, I think, for some. Not much different for those who have been with us for a duration of time. We'll do some creative things with these guys in the back end of this week in a celebratory manner with our football team as they take their last practice reps of a home game on that practice field and what that means and what that looks like, and build or prelude into what will be their senior day on Tiger game field as well. So I think the feeling is very much the same, that you have chills and goosebumps and excited about taking center stage in that stadium in front of 100,000 people, which we'll need, and they deserve to be able to stand in front of 100,000 Tiger fans.
You all shuffled a little bit at both offensive tackle spots. Can you explain the decision that you all made to play both when you did, and then after evaluating the film, how you thought those guys did?
Yeah, just thought those guys, asking them to play an enormous amount of reps wasn't advantageous for them or for us, that if we could split those reps in half, the idea if it was somewhere about 30-30, they could give us 30 great plays, opposed to 30 great plays and another 30 that are a tad bit under. So if they were fresh, they were engaged, and they're learning from the other while he is out there, then going onto the field would give them and give us best opportunity for production. After watching the film, you saw those things. I thought we controlled them for the most part. They had one of the most prolific defensive ends in the SEC. I thought we managed him well. He didn't just disrupt our world. And I was proud of him. I was proud of those young guys and their ability to keep them in front of them, if you will. That's the tough thing about this, right? And so we talk about the defensive ends in the SEC and how they rush the field, and they're elite, right? They're the top 5, top 10 draft picks, and they're going against a guy who's going vertically backwards, and how to get to your depth, how to counter the repertoire of things that he will do is up and under. It's in and out. It's then an ice pick. It's two-hand bob. It's bull rush. You got to be prepared for it all at any time. And so, and it's a tall task for a guy who's youthful. But I thought our guys did well. Was proud of the job that they did, and I think they'll continue to just get better. But for us in that regard, we played 70 snaps or so on offense and 50 or so on defense. Again, kind of what we have found as the sweet spot to allow us to be at our best.
I got two for you. What did it mean to have your family on the field with you after the game? who was that young man they threw at you, and then you had to catch, and then what did you see in Michael's full game? Like now that he had the full game to work with, and where do you think he can maybe take another step here going forward?
Yeah, I thought Michael's body of work was imperfect, but yet something that we can certainly build on. Again, there were things early in the game, and it's different, right? It's always different when you are the guy that's coming off the bench. The pressure is different. The expectation is different. So for length of time, everybody in their mind want Teddy Bridgewater. Well, Teddy's not better than Drew. Sorry, Teddy. But he's not, right? Drew was the guy. But as he got older, we want Teddy, because he was the backup that came in and looked great. And so there's an adjustment from the guy that comes off the bench compared to the guy who starts and have all the monumental pressure and expectations to live up to. It was a first in Tiger Stadium for Michael, and so it took a minute for it to digest. I think he settled down well. He would want some of those throws back that he makes routinely, because we purposely didn't ask him to do anything over the top. We're going to give you simple ones, and even that, it can become challenging for you in your debut in Tiger Stadium. But I thought he finished in a flurry. I thought he was willing to do whatever it took to help us win the football game. He delivered and gave his best when his best was needed. And so proud of him and the job that he did. I had about 40 or so family members that were in town for the game, including my mother, who was in the wheelchair on the field. So it was a terrific feeling to be able to share that with the people you love. And over the years, as I've gone from state to state and coached at places, that was always the tough part. Life is grand, life is beautiful, if you can share it with the people you love. To do it by yourself and not be able to share it with people you love and for others, then it's a little different. But it hits different when you can. And so it was a great feeling at that time. That was my grandson, Makai, who they threw at me on the field, who his game plan was, Pop, we can win. All you have to do is put me in the game, right? And so so he made that known to me. So, a great opportunity in family time. Thank you for asking that.
Frank, do you expect Whit Weeks to play again this year, and could you go through an injury report from Saturday?
Yeah, boy, I sure hope he would. He makes us better. I'm respectful and understanding of his injury, of his future, and the things that he's trying to attain. I think if there's a possibility of him being able to play, he's going to position himself to do so. Unfortunately, that hasn't happened in the last couple of weeks, several weeks. We'll try again this week. Spoke with him this morning. He has a desire and a want to play and to finish in this season the way that he sees fit, and we certainly want to accommodate him in doing so. Outside of that, nothing major. A couple of knickknacks here and there, bruises and things. No breaks, no tears throughout the week in this week's game.
If I ask you a couple, Ramos got some SEC Player of the Week honors. He's the ultimate position to do something right, nobody remembers, right? Do something wrong, no one forgets. Yeah.
Yeah, so 3 for 3 in field goal attempts, perfect in PATs, and nobody says anything. He missed that one wide right. Everybody remembers it. Consistency, maturity. He's going to be a tough one to replace as he wraps up his senior year here. He has been steady since his freshman year. He is our all-time point leader, and just really proud of the job that he's done for us.
If and when you reach a bowl game, you obviously would be the head coach of that?
If I'm allowed to be, I would certainly love to be.
Got you. What would a bowl game, what does a bowl game mean to the program moving forward? Because a lot of people downplay them these days, but as the acting head coach, what do you see in that?
Oh, it's a big deal. It's a big deal for us. Anytime you're able, when you think of your program holistically and the continuous opportunity to develop your team, the longer and the more you can practice, there's development, there's engagement, there's cohesiveness that happens with your football team. And so we'd like to play into January to advance our football team, to keep the camaraderie and the building of a program that we think is on a horizon, right? At a time in year when some people are getting weary, our football team is building steam, right? And so from a week ago to this week to this upcoming week versus Western Kentucky, we're eager to play. We're chopping at the bit to get better, to prove ourselves and beyond.
Just a recruiting question. Somebody got a 5th star in New Orleans, yesterday, I guess. But just what does the victory do for you and those phone calls that, you get to make to the potential, commitments?
I think it's a big deal. You tell them just stay to the course, hang with us. You'll see the change. You'll see that we're getting better. And for young eyes, getting better is winning, right? And so they sometimes can't see the gains that the team is making and sometimes they can, in effort and style of play versus said opponent. But when you win, they remember that. It makes them feel good. And so they identify improvement with winning. And so to have a win on Saturday was a big deal for our football program. It was a big deal for those guys who are committed to us. Kind of allows them to stick their chest out and hold their chin up high. We're back. Okay, you saw that, huh? And so they were ecstatic when we talked to them. Yeah, they're a good football team, 8-2. A gun and fun and raid offense that throws it all over the field in various formations, a quarterback that's dynamic in his own right. You look at it against Louisiana Tech, I think he had 12 for 80 yards in rushing. He can spin it. And again, when you talk about the air raid offense and all of those guys that come off of that lineage, it's always difficult because they go with great speed. They give you exotic looks, and they throw it all over the yard. And so our discipline, our eye discipline on defense will be critical for us. They have a really good running back who's rushed the ball well for them and 2 dynamic receivers. Defensively, they're multiple, right? They're a 3-4 defense that turns into 3-2 defense, that turns into bear defense, that turns into all these variations of things that you'll have to prepare for. There'll be a challenge for us from a defensive standpoint, from an offensive standpoint, because we've had challenges with variation and movement up front. And so to be on point this weekend will be critical for our success, just to get a hat on a man. And I think if we do that, we'll have the success that we're looking for. But they're a talented football team with a great young staff that's doing a good job for them. Thank you all. How come y'all didn't come? Y'all
Coach Frank Wilson with this week's LSU football press conference. As you heard, the quarterback situation, we'll monitor that as we move along throughout the week. May get an update on Thursday on what the plan is going into the matchup with Western Kentucky. Also, a few more news and notes we'll pass along in just a little bit. We'll take our final break, come back, and wrap it up after this.
What a matchup we've got, folks. Just nonstop action. The energy is electric, and the fans are all in. An intense game like this calls for a Coca-Cola. Ah, crisp and refreshing. That's a game changer.
Now everybody's been to Louis Cafe by campus. Heck, it's been around since over 80 years now. We're still doing delicious omelets like the Mitchell, cheesy grits, big cheesy Lou, and those Louis original Cajun hash browns. We now offer a pickup window. Just call in your order at 346-8221. Give us 15 or 20 minutes, and we'll have it ready for you. Our hours are now 6:30 a.m. to 2:30 p.m., 7 days a week. So next time you visit campus, make it a point to stop by and visit an old friend. Louis Cafe, just outside the north gates of LSU.
This is Buzzy Hydell for the Morris Insurance Group. Outdoorsmen in the state might be having a tough time right now finding policies to fit on the properties they love. If you've got a hunting camp, a boat, or an RV that has been difficult to insure, we want you to look again. For owners or renters, the Morris Insurance Group can help you all the way to the duck camp or the fishing boat. We also have policies on coastal properties, including flood insurance to let owners protect themselves in the event of damage. For your camps, boats and trailers, four-wheelers, ATVs, and tractors, get a quote today at morris-ig.com or call 225-201-0007.
Suicidal crisis, the window of time to save somebody's life is very short. Our duty is to protect ourselves and protect our families, and one way you can do that is store your weapons safely. Store all your guns securely. Help stop suicide.
Brought to you by End Family Fire and the Ad Council.
LSU Tiger fans are gearing up with real Tigers apparel and merchandise from the official online store at lsushop.net. Get jerseys, sideline gear, polos, t-shirts, hats, official team merchandise from Nike, accessories, and much more. Over 3,600 products, all shipped right to your door. Head to the place real Tiger fans go for the selection only real Tiger fans get at lsushop.net.
Wrapping up this week's LSU football press conference, presented by the Louisiana Farm Bureau Federation. But first, with some final news and notes, here again, Chris Blair.
Indeed, wrapping it up here on this Monday, Coach Wilson talking a lot about what he loved from this past Saturday in the fight in his Tigers in the 23-22 win over Arkansas. And you could tell by his statements going into the matchup out of conference against Western Kentucky, it once again will be all about LSU, their plan, their preparation, and their execution. Coming up on Thursday night, Coach Wilson will be live at TJ Ribs. The LSU football radio show will start at 7 o'clock, all brought to you by FMOL, Our Lady of the Lake Health, and hope to see you there. If you can't, tune in all across the state on the radio station of your choice, or you can stream it for free live with the LSU Sports mobile app and at lsusports.net. It's a 6:45 kickoff this Saturday. We'll get things cranked up with LSU game day at 4:45. It'll be Hunt Palmer, Marlon Favorite, Brandon Taylor setting the table. Jacob Hester, Gordy Rush, two great Tigers will join me from inside Tiger Stadium on a Saturday night in Death Valley for Western Kentucky and LSU meeting for just the third time in football history. This note, the SEC announced that the regular season finale for your Tigers coming up a week from this Saturday, a little less than 2 weeks from today. It will be LSU and Oklahoma in Norman at 2:30 Central Time. The decision on whether it will be on ABC or ESPN will come next week. But we do know they'll be kicking off around 2:30 in LSU and
Live at lunch with Ott and Annie from Big Mike's Sports Bar and Grill in Denham Springs on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
And a return here at Big Mike's on Aspen Square. Heard Frank Wilson in the press conference. Kind of went through the game, started a little pedestrian, and we certainly talked a lot about the game in the first hour today as well. Some of the things that he brought up when he got to the Q&A portion of this is that Garrett Nussmeier is still he's still there. He is still hopeful to play this weekend. It is senior day, but that they don't have any update on that today. And he said, Jimmy, that he played courageously, which is an interesting word. When we
talk about Nussmeier,
through
he
the
played
course.
hurt.
Yes, that's what I was going to say. Is that that's a convenient, not a convenient, a very polite way of saying he has played injured. Now, how hurt, injured, how hurt, we'll probably debate that forever. What he was able to do and not able to do, only he knows for sure. But he was compromised at some point. And should he have been sat down in the Southeastern game? Absolutely. And some of the other games, maybe.
You don't go backwards in your quarterback development by choice. And I understand the protection was an issue, but they just were not throwing the ball downfield.
Yeah.
And, I mean, I've never seen that stat brought up before, but we sure saw it. What was the game where they
Vandy.
The Vandy game where they brought up it was basically an arm strength meter.
Yeah.
And he went from one of the, I mean, I would have put his 1, 2, or 3. We could debate a little bit, but strongest arm in college football last year. And you go back and we can go back to that point where we're all a little bit, man, oh no, the report, basically like we thought he tore an ACL, basically at practice. I mean, we're getting all kinds of calls, right?
Oh gosh,
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
That went on for 2
Well,
weeks.
he hurt something, probably, right?
We were doing the show from the back area of Rufino's. We were waiting for when they were redoing the bar. They were bringing those reports to us as we did the show. You remember that show?
Yes,
For
people off
sure.
the street trying to, you hear this, you hear this, you hear that. I mean, it's so he was injured to start the season, and I mean, he got the crap beat out of him, Charlie. I mean,
I watched
so
it.
we know that. We know what we've seen, and so yeah, that's a complimentary way to to say that he played through a lot of pain, and he was also limited. He was less than 100%.
And I think it means something that he's still out there, that he's still encouraging, that he is still upbeat, that he didn't, leave the Alabama game, put a towel over his head, and just, check out, or that tell me he could not have withdrawn from the team and said, guys, listen, I love y'all, but I got to, next spring's the NFL draft. This is my draft. This is my career. This is my future. I'm going to Arizona to work with, private trainers from between now and the draft. I'm sorry. I'm not going to just stick around here, for the last few games of the season. He could have done that. I might not even blamed him if he did that, but he didn't do that. So I give him credit.
Well, I mean, the starting quarterback at Florida State did it at Boston College, huh? He just flat out quit the team.
Yeah.
So we're in that era,
right?
Where I mean, it's not.
It wouldn't have even been a blip on the radar. 10 years ago, when you skipped the bowl game, it was major national news. Now it's like, okay, they're going to get ready for the draft.
He has a track record of commitment to the LSU football program.
Yes, he does. Yes,
so,
he does.
and in the end, where he's going to be a very interesting debate on where he should be drafted, because when healthy, he's got a lot of ability, limited mobility, and just a last season at LSU where his stock declined. Fair or unfair. So where do you draft him? I mean, we can get this guy in the third round, man. He's a first round grade on our board, something like that. Oh, wait a minute, why did he go back? So it's going to be a very interesting conversation between a guy like Aller. This was a year where we had some quarterbacks, college quarterbacks, had their stock decline, huh? But one thing that he's going to have going for him that is he did not. People want to see how you react to the toughest situations, and he stuck around. He stuck around, played through pain. Who on that staff is going to say, no, man, he really wasn't that hurt? I mean, you heard Frank right there.
Right.
His words, courageously. And you know that. He's gotten the crap knocked out of him. He was less than 100% to begin with, and so he had it's tougher than most.
Here's another player who has been here for a long time and has played the whole season, and at times been frustrated with him. But the last 2 games, man, he's looked good. That's Harold Perkins. Harold Perkins, I thought, made some really big plays against the Clemson game, in the Clemson game. And then there were games, especially Ole Miss, especially Texas A&M, little bit in Vanderbilt, where didn't look like he was playing hard. Certainly didn't look like he was playing smart. And now these last 2 games, and he has played in every game this year, by the way, coming off that injury from last year. He has been back to making plays, disruptive plays. We would have loved to have seen that throughout the course of his career, but a guy that has flashed, Perkins is playing maybe his best football of the season the last 2 weeks.
Talon Green can run.
Yes, sir.
And boy, he closed in on him so quick. At the play he made for the interception, I said, "Wait, who was that? That was one of the safety. I mean, that was a talented safety type of play, on that ball." One thing about LSU's DBs / Perkins, man, they don't drop interceptions. They have made some interceptions. I mean, their hands for DBs, usually you see drops. I mean, how did he drop? No, they when they get their hands on them, man, they usually bring it in. And that's going to be one of those plays that they show when they're talking about his stock and they're analyzing him. So it's Arkansas sure has gotten a raw end out of his career.
Yeah, if they only watch the games that he played against them, they probably think he's going to be a first pick in the draft or something like that, because he's had his best games against them. And there were other games where, like I said, Vandy, Texas A&M, where he looked disinterested, looked distracted, whatever. I think he's going to be really interesting to see what an NFL team does with him. I don't know. In my head, Jimmy, he can be a guy like what Jamal Adams was his first year in Seattle, where they played him as a safety, essentially a box safety. He wasn't asked to do too much in coverage, but he was a disruptor up there, but he wasn't an inside linebacker per se. Kyle Hamilton with the Ravens, they do some similar things with him up near the line of scrimmage. That's kind of the role, and I don't know if he'll be as good as either one of those guys. Those guys were both first-round picks, and I don't think Perkins is anymore. But that's not to say that he doesn't have a lot of ability, and a creative defensive coordinator could do some really fun stuff with him at the NFL level.
He can do some things that a lot of people can't. Well, he's got that type of bend coming around the edge.
Yeah.
I mean, there ain't many that can do that, man. So he can fly. You just wish that, you want to see him put into position. One thing that I didn't get out of Frank's talk, which I wish I would have, and I understand they got punched. They got punched in the mouth, down 14-0. They responded, took the lead into halftime, and then it was in the balance down the stretch, the goal line stance. But what did we think about Bobby Petrino? Okay, not
kind, benevolent.
Yeah. Okay, but
very respectful of others.
But a respected, innovative play designer, play caller, and it just seemed like he was having a day on the throwback to the tight, wide open. And these are. I mean, when they're 4th and 1, I'm like, oh, he brings everybody in tight because this is play action coming. I think it was a pre-snap penalty that stopped that play from going on. But it's the wide open guys in these chunk plays for Arkansas. They kind of went away after the first quarter. And what did Baker do? What did LSU do? I was interested to see what kind of adjustments they made to try and stop a guy, because usually when Petrino has guys in the clear early, it continues. And it didn't on Saturday.
And they also, Green got loose for one long run, the 55-yard run. Yeah, he's a good player. But other than they did not. He didn't make all. I was worried that all those 3rd down and 7s, 3rd down and 8s, if you can get him in those positions, he picks those up like nobody's business because of how fast he is. And they didn't do that. They were good in their containment of him. Like I said, he got loose for one. But they were very good. I said in the pregame, I said, hold him under his average, which was 71 yards and change per game. They held him to 70, so close enough. I thought it worked out well for them that they were able to contain him just enough.
I thought it was going to be. It looked like Arkansas was going to have their way early in the game.
It did look like LSU was a little bit out of sorts early. He called it pedestrian. We got off to a pedestrian start. Again, that's very polite language.
So the 6 conference games for Arkansas, 5 of the 6 in one possession games.
The other one they lost by 11.
Yeah, but they led by 11 at half.
Okay, yeah.
When they start turning the ball over left and right against Auburn at home.
You can.
I mean, they're in every game. So this rarely is an 0-6 team. Every game's in the balance.
You can flip half a dozen plays on this season and maybe flip their record. Maybe not completely over. I'm not saying they'd be 6-0 in the conference, but they would certainly be 3-3, 4-2, something like that. 5
or 6 games. And look, we're not talking about some easy games either. At Ole Miss, at Tennessee, against Texas A&M. Now Mississippi State.
The Tennessee game, they got a late touch. They were down 10. They got a touchdown.
Down 17.
Okay.
Got 2 late touchdowns.
Yeah, right.
Yes.
They were not going to win that game.
That's fair. Yeah. That's fair. But the Auburn game,
the Auburn game, yeah. Sure.
They're up 8 at the end of 3.
Right.
I mean, so Tennessee got away from them a little bit, so that wasn't really as
they-
close as it was. The final score was much closer than
They
Auburn,
squeezed
but
it back,
it was
yeah.
not nearly as close as Auburn.
No. The last thing he talked about that I wanted to mention, he says a bowl game's a big deal for us, and I can understand if people out there scoffing at that because the bowls have lost so much of their luster. For years after the bowl, the playoffs had come into play, and the bowls had, sort of been de-emphasized.
Well,
we still thought it was a good, the idea of having 15 more practices or 10 more practices was valuable. Okay, then you say, well, now is it really valuable if you've got a coaching change because you're not practicing stuff that is going to be with the guy you're going to have next year, and the transfer portal. A lot of these guys will be practicing. They're going to be playing for somebody else. But I do think it gives – so I think it's less important than it used to be, but not that it's unimportant. And I think it gives Frank a chance to keep some kids in the building in December,
Maybe.
And it might not matter for some.
But Charlie, Frank's in a completely different role than us and the fans in this thing, because you don't want – the fans are not happy to begin with, all right, with the season, the way it's gone, okay? We are knocking them a little bit too, okay? But he's got to create in-season goals now that are clearly different than the ones they started at the start of the season with, because you don't want the four-letter word. The worst four-letter word you can have on your team, your college football team, quit. You can't have that. And I saw some of that four-letter word in the second half against Texas A&M.
Plenty of it.
One thing you cannot accuse this team of under 2 games under Frank Wilson, you can't throw that four-letter word out.
No, they have not quit. And I think his best chance, LSU's best
so
chance
he's
to
gotta-
retain some of these guys is to have practice
And
in
it may be
December.
so. Maybe not. There's going to be a lot of variables there. But he's got to keep his team playing. And because the last thing you want is, even if I don't know if it's 2/3 fill, 3/4 fill, 80%, whatever, however bodies were in that stadium, you don't want them leaving. Damn, we quit. No, nobody left that stadium thinking that team quit. Nobody.
There's all kind of ways to motivate your team, and we got the game time for the game against Oklahoma, 2:30. And LSU may be playing spoiler.
And not every interim coach is going to has the ear of his players to reestablish, to recreate some in-season goals. This is why he was the perfect person for this interim, because I think I will listen to an argument, and my money was on second half against A&M. We may have had a little quit in us, okay? So who was the guy has relationships, multiple stays here with everybody from high school coaches to players to ex-players. Who's the guy that has the most invested? And it's Frank. And so when you care about your players and people off the field and have had relationships, they're going to produce for you on the field. And so, now listen, they're still playing. They have tape. And again, not just Nussmeier, when it's going bad for him, injury-wise, beat up, performance, the whole thing. Is he still staying around the program, or is he going to Arizona with his private coach? No, he's staying. He wants to be part of the program and wants to be on the sideline and be a sounding board for Van Buren in his first start or his next start or whatever. But also, everybody's got a highlight reel. Everybody's got one of those. What about when y'all were knocked out of the national championship picture or the conference championship picture? Are you still putting out there? Are you still performing there? Are you still have a level of effort there? That's what I want to see. And that's where the better scouts, that they outdistance themselves from the other ones. When it's going bad, because it's sports. Adversity's coming. It's just how you respond to it. And a lot of those guys still got that tape running.
And you use whatever motivational tactics you think work. A week from now, if Oklahoma beats Missouri.
Be spoiler. Hell yeah.
Oklahoma will be playing LSU for a spot in the playoffs,
Yes.
in my opinion, because it will get them to 10-2. I don't think they're going
They control their own destiny.
in the playoffs. Yeah,
Yes.
so it doesn't matter for the SEC championship game. But use that. Say, hey, we want to knock out Oklahoma out of the playoffs. If it helps, go right ahead.
Yeah.
If you think that'll push a specific button, then go right ahead. Use whatever you got.
It's good that when I'm caught up. I'm at the Queen. I'm watching, but as some of the reports and listening to Frank, it meant a lot to him to get that W.
Yes, it did.
You know, and I'm all about that. So that's good stuff. So don't forget, today we're over here at Big Mike's in Denham Springs. Charlie said we got one more 10 a.m. show? 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. show?
Next Monday.
Next Monday. We were at the Queen yesterday. We'll be at Caesar Sportsbook this Sunday for Football Sunday. Now, Football Sunday goes all the way through the Super Bowl, rotating between the Queen and Caesar. So we're looking forward to that. Don't forget our friends at Workbox. Workbox can handle all your removable storage needs, commercial and residential. Our shipping containers come in all various sizes, 8x8, 8x10, 8x20, even 8x40 feet, not just one size. So give my buddy Martin Patio, give him a call at 343-4886 or visit their website at workboxllc.com. Workbox and Workbox Services can handle all of your movable storage needs.
Back to wrap it up here at Big Mike's Live at Lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch.
1950 Phil's Oyster Bar started on Government Street. Then Gus Piazza took over in the 70s, and now his son Anthony is taking it to another level at the current.
Jordan, whenever you're ready.
It's rolling.
Join us for the Tuesday edition of Live at Lunch from Mike Anderson Seafood, Wesley at Nicholson. Andy Esco joins us from Las Vegas. Greg Bowser on the Tigers, and we do first class, second class, no class. Live at Lunch from Mike Anderson's 11 a.m. Tuesday on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
If you've got a hunting camp, a boat, or an RV that has been difficult to insure, we want you to look again. For owners or renters, the Morris Insurance Group can help you all the way to the duck camp or the fishing boat. We also have policies on coastal properties, including flood insurance to let owners protect themselves in the event of damage. For your camps, boats and trailers, four-wheelers, ATVs, and tractors, get a quote today at morris-ig.com or call 225-201-0007.
Do you know what you would do if you were in a car wreck? It's easy to panic when you or someone you care about is hurt in an accident. Who will pay the medical bills? Who will pay the car repair? Who will deal with the insurance companies for you? Protect your rights. You need someone you can trust. Call the law offices of O.C. Brown at 343-1111. The law offices of O.C. Brown will handle everything for you. 343-1111 or online at ocbrown.com. We want to be your law firm for a lifetime.
Attention vehicle owners. Before you trade your transportation, let K&M Automotive give your vehicle a new lease on life with a remanufactured product from Jasper Engines and Transmissions. A Jasper remanufactured engine, transmission, or differential will extend your vehicle's life, giving you the extra cash to do the things you really enjoy. And Jasper offers a 3-year, 100,000-mile nationwide parts and labor warranty. K&M Automotive, 636-2875. That's K&M Automotive, Siegen near Perkins.
When it comes to celebrating life, there's no better place than Ruffino's. With locations in Baton Rouge and Lafayette, Ruffino's is a steak, seafood, and Italian-inspired restaurant that focuses on the celebration of life, regardless of the occasion. Whether it's the food they serve or the service they provide, their goal is to ensure a remarkable experience for their guests that is always remembered. To view our menu, visit ruffinosrestaurant.com. Ruffino's, where Louisiana comes to celebrate life.
Running a business can be difficult enough without the right relationship with your bank. With United Community Bank's local business bankers, you're not just a number, you're a partner. Contact Heath Meir, Nicole Glover, Hunter Creed, David Campbell, or David Henry to discuss how we can help your business today. United Community Bank, the local way to bank big. Locations from Baton Rouge to Golden Meadow. We've been serving the people of Southern Louisiana for over 60 years. United Community Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender. With all of the financial headlines, are you worried if your retirement savings will last? The market's ups and downs can keep you guessing, especially if you're approaching retirement or considering it. If you have more questions and answers about what's next, let's work together to help ensure you're prepared for your journey. After all, retirement isn't the end of the trek, it's a new beginning. Stop by your local Edward Jones advisor. Text Morris on Jefferson. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
Get the 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge mobile app powered by Bayou Ford and tap the microphone icon to send us your thoughts in an audio message. Your message could be played on air. Find our app in the Apple or Google Play Store. For direct links, visit 1045ESPN.com. Tigers, Saints, Southeastern Conference. All in one place. LouisianaSports.net. No paywalls, no article limits. It's just the coverage the Louisiana sports fans want. Bookmark it today. LouisianaSports.net. Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny from Big Mike's Sports Bar and Grill in Denham Springs on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
So, Charlie,
yeah,
we're checking the plane meters, and looks like Whit Weeks got on a plane and head to Oxford to go pick up Landry.
Okay.
Yeah. So, besides that, nothing else going on. Max? Max?
They're public plane trackers, and there was a plane that left from Baton Rouge this morning, went to Oxford, and landed back here right after. So that's what we know.
Aren't there planes?
Don't we have a meme of Charlie at the BTR doing the directions coming in?
The last time I was on a plane,
with those little orange, kind of directions.
Yeah, the little cone,
yeah,
is waving in the right direction. We got 2 weeks of this, right?
Yes.
2 weeks away.
I said by 2 weeks. So it's going to happen in these 2 weeks. So I don't know exactly when.
Well, nobody does.
This 2 weeks, we'll know our coach.
How
I expect that we'll know who our coach is.
How crazy is the Egg
What do you
Bowl
think, Charlie?
going to be?
I think they would very much like to have that coach in place
Max?
that day you're talking about.
How crazy would the Egg Bowl be if this is going down, at the end of that?
We got to go back and listen to the audio good of the game, the Florida Ole Miss game Saturday, because Florida jumps on top. We want Lane. We want Lane.
Wasn't it both?
The students after the game, when they won, they hung around when the game was over. We want Lane. We want Lane. And of the guy, who's got more of a shenanigan-filled, off-the-field coaching career than Lane Kiffin? And everybody's just fawning after it. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, really. Did you ever think that you would see him in this situation?
No. Where's Lane? We have a coaches meeting. I mean, as was the press availability for the national championship game. He's in Boca looking at places.
Yeah.
Oh, well, get what? Wants to go to Boca and go now. Sark, you calling the plays against Georgia in the national championship game?
Nick Tolan to move along. All right, here at Big Mike's.
Let me. Boca is not Gainesville.
No, Boca's very nice.
No, they're different.
All you can eat ball shrimp on Monday nights, $1 wings on Wednesday nights, live music on the weekends here at Big Mike's on Aspen Square. Stay tuned for Hunt Palmer on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Charlie, live from the airport.
Live at lunch.
Congratulations are in order for one of my favorite places to eat.
All right, so I'll have a good one.
All right.